And we're about to be broadcasting. We're on. Okay, we're on now. Now let's get back to business. So we're gonna look at the vignettes tonight of these awesome people. We're gonna start with the people that are far away from us in Colombia, starting with Juan Pablo.
And
We can. What did you say, Eddie? I can't hear you. Is it me? I think that you cut your microphone or something happened to you, Eddie.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I say, Fab, that if we can continue after the foreign people, we can continue with the people who publish the vignette first.
Yeah, sure. Good idea. Good idea.
Okay.
We're gonna go in that order then. We're gonna start with the foreigners and then we're gonna move from first to last. Okay, start with Juan Pablo. Remember that as we were reminded by Eddie, try to share your vignette here, try to share the text that you base your vignette off of. Like sometimes you might choose to read or to learn it or to ad-lib it or to say something completely different, but we want to see also that first resource, the script of your essay or presentation, okay? So try to share that. If you can share it right now, please do. Juanpa shared it with me on WhatsApp. So I'm gonna share it with the group. Give me just a second. That gives us another dimension to the way Juanpa thinks about this. Give me just a second. Juanpa. And right here. Okay. Copy, and I'm going to share this to the group. Just a second. And the group is, hang on. Got lost for a second. Let me see. By Juanpa. There. I just shared it to the group. Okay. And let's listen to Juan Pablo Izquierdo. Everybody sees Juanpa? Let me know if you can see and hear as I play it.
I can see.
Are we spending our energies and our time on the right activities? The philosophy of essentialism promotes the idea of focusing on the essentials and eliminating non-essential activities in order to live a more meaningful and effective life. Today, we live in a world where we are constantly bombarded with information, choice, and tasks. If we carefully evaluate requests and commitments in terms of their essential and benefit to our life and career, and be clear about our goals and priorities, we can reduce stress and work overload, and find more time and energy to devote to the things that really matter. To do this, it's very important to learn to say no to things that are not essential and focus on doing fewer tasks with higher quality versus trying to do too many things and not finishing any of them. We can say that essentialists are more effective at achieve their goals and avoiding sustained stress. In conclusion, by prioritizing what is essential and eliminating what is not, we can focus on our goals and objectives and find more time and energy for the things that really matter, ultimately leading to a more meaningful and meaningful way of life. That is all. Thank you for your attention.
All right. So here we have his presentation. What do you think, guys? Give it a critical view. Think about it. Think about what you like and what you think is missing, or if you have any ideas, let us know. What do you think, guys?
One by
Yeah.
one. One by one.
One by one, that's right.
In a line, please.
So tell us, what do you think?
Juanca is a person that is part of the schedule in your country, in Spain, and he always accomplishes with your vignettes, and also has accustomed to his micro vignettes in his adventures, climbing, running, everything that he is doing. This is a person who interact with the group, and it's a good job.
He does a good job. That's true. I'm going to suggest something in general for everybody. And I know that Juanpa told me that he had to rethink the structure of his presentation because he didn't want to bother people with his details. But I think that's exactly the whole point. I mean, is obviously you have to try to find the correct balance. You don't want to overextend, but I think that you also have to touch base with reality. You know, like land those ideas to the level where you live your life. And you can start with a short anecdote. And I recommend this for the people that are going to be taking a test in the near future. For example, Juanca. Juanca's thinking of taking IELTS. Other people will be taking TOEFL, etc. When you are confronted by this type of question during an interview, or you have to speak to a microphone like TOEFL, you need to organize your ideas. And the best way to organize them is by relating or by taking yourself back to a situation where this topic of conversation applies in your life. And it can be brief. You can say, well, I've been a non-essentialist my whole life, especially when it comes to this. But as I started learning about this, I understood that the key was to say no, for example. So that's the only thing that I would suggest to Juanpa. Try to connect to your reality. Just give us a quick way to connect, a very brief anecdote, for example, because it helps him to connect us and it helps us to connect to him. See, Johan. I think Johan.
Yes, sorry, I was muted. Yes, I think, or I believe that Juan is a person to keep in mind about his habits, because as he has shown how dedicated he is on his work, on his personal life, and even on English. I think he has showed us that he accomplished a lot of things. So I think that European habits can be good to follow.
I believe that I have to agree with Johan. I think that Juan Pablo has given us more than one lesson. He's being very generous with the way he perceives life, and just because he is generous in doing that, we appreciate his friendship and his being in the course, just because he's so generous and open and he shows us. Okay. So he has given us enough. Yes. And that's what we want more here in this vignette. Just, like a little bit of a connecting something, a small detail to lead us to his life, or from his life to the topic. Juanca.
Juanpa is a guy that I think is a pro in everything he's doing. I really admire because is a part of is he lives in another side of the world. He and he tried to accomplish every week. He is humble because he followed the advice. For example, last week I remember I comment his vignette. He shows the vignette the other day, not in the session, the next day, and I try to say that he should be or should do the vignette short and more concise, more focus, right? So I think he in this vignette he was worried to make the vignette in the theory topic, and he improved a lot. Improved a lot in pronunciation. I just think a few things in prioritizing, for example, that is a word is complicated to pronounce, and it's just a few things in the pronunciation. I like the vignette. At least he need to add the personal anecdote in this case.
Yeah, simply provide an example. Maybe he can include a couple of statistics or data that are hard just to kind of land on reality and logic, his observations, but that's extra, really, because there's not a technical presentation. It's more anecdotal. And I commend Juan Pablo on the use of the visual aids. Okay, the visuals, that helps a lot. So I want to mention just that. If you have any further comments, you can leave comments for Juanpa in the field right there next to his vignette on Flip. And please do give him a big heart because he deserves it. And we always appreciate Juanpa's vignettes because they're so informative and so well put together. Okay, the recommendations that we gave were just little things in comparison to what we saw, which was the work of genius. Thank you, Juanpa. Really good work. Let's continue, guys. Let's continue because the night is ours for now. And where are we? We're going on with, who am I going to pick? I'm going to pick Antonella.
Hello, people. Okay, the topic essentialism take me back to some year ago when I worked a store where my contract said custom service. But in addition to that, my task included banking transaction, paying employee salaries, grocery shopping, among other, for the same pay. And I couldn't bring myself to say no. What annoyed me the most were the tasks I did outside of my working hours. One day, I had made plans with my partner to meet a coffee to talk about our relationship, which was not going very well. And the store called me to fix a separate problem with the computer that allowed the payment of the service. When I arrived, the computer was already fixed and I was not notified, which resulted in a fight with my partner. After I had a breakdown, my psychologist suggested I learn to say I can't in different polite ways. I tried around it and noticed an interesting result. The people who had asked me for favors at any time were surprised that I had changed. They wondered what had happened to me. In the end, saying no to certain thing result in those separate friends disappearing from my life. I agree that sometimes less is more. I am now surrounded by people who respect and love me for who I am. And we do each other favor from the heart without expecting anything in return. Thank you for listening to me. Bye bye.
Talk to me. Talk to Anto.
Anto is a person who used and previously structures like when she said text me too, I stole the phrase. I love her presentations, her editions in his video, in her videos, and I love that kind of the presentation of Antonella, because it's a person who is increase your English and a big level from the last year. Good job for Anto.
It's a very smart presentation. And I'm very glad that we talked about this topic, because obviously it's been something that she has noticed. And the only benefit here is that now she can speak about what she went through in English. That's the advantage of this vignette. That is something that for her was real, was felt deep inside as she relates to us. Her supposed friends stopped being her friends, but now she has new friends who value and respect her for who she is and who don't have demands on her time. And so she can live a life of quality. And I love and respect that. And I love when she says it in English, because now a part of her life can be discussed in two languages, and she did it quite greatly, and she did an amazing job. Everything, I liked it. I'm very happy with this vignette. It's very different from Juanpa's, because Juanpa's is very informative. Juanpa's is very informative, but Antonella is informative in a different way, where she did the exact opposite of Juanpa. She related, or she let the topic take her back to the situation that she lived, which was a moment of confusion, maybe, when she was in it last year. So it's beautiful to see her reflection in front of the camera. And I thank Antonella for being so open and generous with us. Anybody else wants to say anything to Antonella?
Yeah, teacher. Well, I like the vignette sorry, I like the vignette of Antonella, because in this vignette she relate how it's a reality for working women, no? Because sometimes they put in risk at families, or in this case she relates like how she have a breakout with his relationship. So this is real, no? Because this is not apply only for women, for everybody. But in this case, she relate how because she want to reach his goals, maybe she put in risk his relationship. This is like common.
True.
I'm fortunate because I consider that I have learned to know many things from Antonella in her personal life. And I consider she's so generous in his behavior and her behavior. And obviously she's someone who take off the food in her mouth for give the others, right? So she is so generous, and she tried to tell us many anecdotes from her, and the topic that show us or learn us to teach us, excuse me, to learn about to say no. So she tried to explain it in her personal life, and it's a good appreciation, and it's a good idea to talk to us this situation, and how can she manage the essentialism in her life.
Good point. One more thing that I want to mention is now being tough on Antonella. If this is a presentation and the question asks for both your experience and your opinion on the topic, you gotta be careful how you navigate the two topics. Maybe organizing the presentation can help. And once again, this was the complete opposite of Juanpa, in which she was very anecdotal, but she missed the point of linking that back to the topic really effectively. I mean, she missed it by a little. Obviously, she talked about the general idea, but she needs to relate a little bit more. But this is just being purely academical, right? I mean, obviously, she did a great presentation, but I guess you have to balance it to the two perspectives, her personal and related back to the facts, the general facts. And I like the visuals, okay? And maybe what we all need to do, and that becomes evident, is we need to polish our language, okay? And I think that if we're working with ChatGPT, for example, the urgency falls on pronunciation, okay? So working more with two phonetics and lingostan to every time try to make better that presentation in terms of the way we sound, okay? And that is the real task. The real task is to repeat and repeat until essentially it sounds perfect, basically, at least to you, okay? And that way you start to gain, you know, a true advantage over your previous vignette, you know, like always trying to put yourself up there at that level that you want to be already. Don't wait for 6 months to happen to you. Make it happen now. You know, like we mentioned this morning, we have to make decisions or we just risk whether those decisions are made for us. Okay, so pronunciation is something that we all can work more on in general, but just pointing it out. I mean, now being harsh on Antonella, obviously, but the idea is, yeah, we need to escalate to greater heights always. But now going back to the reality of the presentation, I loved it. It was so heartfelt, so authentic, so direct to us. It was relatable. It was beautiful. And it was very generous. Right? So thank you very much, Antonella, for all that love and generosity. Beautiful. Let's go on now with Aulani. Aulani's turn. Aulani's here, I think. I saw her earlier.
Hi, teacher. Hi, guys.
Give me just a second. Am I sharing my screen? Yeah. Okay.
Hi, teacher. Hi, guys. Today I will talk about decisions taken in my life and reflect on it. Personally, I am not very good at making decisions. I think it's because of my young age. For example, I am not ready to make the big decision about what I will study in college yet, but I still have 1 year to think about it, and I hope to do it well. But talking about my daily life, the biggest responsibility I have and what keeps me busiest is school. I have to maintain good grades to have a good GPA. It's tiring to have to go to classes, do projects, take exams, but I take everything calmly so as not to stress myself too much. Something else I do to not get stressed with school is to do things that I like and enjoy doing, such as reading books, listening to music, or going for walks in nature. However, I know that life is a series of decisions, and that every choice I make, I will have an impact on my future. That's why I'm trying to improve my decision-making skills and be more confident in my choices. I am learning to analyze the available options and carefully consider the pros and cons before making a decision. In summary, I thought I still like experience in making important decisions. I am trying to learn and improve day by day. Meanwhile, I am enjoying my daily life, maintaining good academic performance, enjoy things that makes me happy. And that's about it. Thank you. Hi, teacher.
All right. Very smart girl. What do you think, guys? Let's give her some feedback. What do you have to say to Aulani?
Well, I think she's so cute. She's kind of so kind. Also, she's very young. She's very smart because she's aware about the decisions we get it, the decisions she take today. She gonna take she gonna make a future, you know. So she is thinking about it all the time. She say, "I'm thinking about the pros and don'ts." So yeah, so this is good because when we are studying, you only are thinking, oh, books, only with past exams, etc. But she's thinking about his future, so this is good. But she says something, enjoying my daily life. Yeah, this is very, very important because she's enjoying his life like a student, but she is enjoying en Spanish. Ella también está disfrutando al pensar en su vida futura. Y eso me gusta.
Aulani is a clever here because she enjoys a lot the current life that Edith told us. And also she is focused in the near future. The near future is go to the college and take the best decisions about her life. So I love this presentation, especially in the order, the pronunciation. She's so smart. Is quite full female, no, completa, quite, what do you say?
Thorough, complete.
Complete, it's quite complete. And also she really give us many things for learn about her. So it's amazing. I love this presentation.
In spite of the age of the Aulani, and she's a girl that who knows what she wants, and I noticed that she speaks very calm, like Cecilia, similar. She speaks similar, but the vignettes are longer than the Cecilia vignettes. I like that. But I noticed in that vignette that she's a girl that she knows that she wants to for his life or for his studies, and I like that.
It's a very good presentation in which we see a lot of depth. Like you said, she is very young, obviously, and she approaches the topic with all the seriousness that it demands, even though she's young, and she is very objective in saying, maybe it's because I'm young, right? And I like that, okay? And I like the fact that she says, I'm probably not very good at making decisions yet. But at that point where she says, when she talks about making decisions, I think the presentation could benefit from structuring and organizing in such a way that she can break down the content to give us the key points with examples, okay? So more examples would be great, maybe. And organizing the information could help that to focus what she wants to communicate, which is clear to me, but I'm just being a little tough, right? And something that could be interesting and refreshing at some point would be to provide a counter argument. And the counter argument can be even a hypothetical situation. But what if I knew, you know, and what do you accomplish with that, Aulani? You accomplish with that the fact that you encourage critical thinking in your audience. I think that that's something that could be used to your advantage, Aulani, because you're super smart. I'm just giving you an idea that maybe if you applied it here, people would be like, oh, you know, like not only interested in your points, but encourage to think even further and apply them to their lives. You know, like that, you know, you say, I'm not good at decision making because I'm young. I understand that. But what if I were? Where would I enjoy? Would I be able to enjoy my life with my friends if I were always clear on what I want to achieve and accomplish? Yeah, I know that I have to say no sometimes, but I cannot say no to schoolwork or to my duties at home. But then again, would I say no to my friends? So if you can do that, you know, like if you can provide counter arguments and make people think, that is very stimulating to the people listening. Okay, it sort of pulls us inevitably into our own experience when we were growing up to understand your point of view. Not saying that because you didn't do it, it's a terrible thing. But I'm saying with the great thing that you did, if you did something like that, people would be like, oh, she's right. Yeah, I never thought about it. And finally, I think that the language in the presentation was really great. Okay. Once again, sometimes might be the microphone or something, but yeah, we all need to continue working on pronunciation, especially when it comes to new phrases, new combinations of sounds. The pronunciation is something that we need to continue to improve on in the course. Okay. And it's something that we can probably, as we watch ourselves, view a second time out of that body, you know, seeing there the image of our video and say, oh, yeah, I get it. Yeah, maybe I need to revisit that and correct it. But in general, I think that the language was stable. Okay. It was not professional because you're a girl and you maintained your voice, the voice of a girl. It was very honest, heartfelt. It was direct. You spoke to us and you touched me. I felt what you were saying. I'm not taking it away from what I felt by saying that you could do something else, because you really touched me and it was a beautiful message from a girl. Okay, that's it. Anybody else wants to say something? All right, let's move on then. Who's next? We're gonna visit our friends from Mexico. Aulani is our first Mexican. Let's go on to probably, let's go to Edith, right? Edith is here. Let's go straight to Edith.
Hi guys. While I was working at Vignette, I can feel a deep sense of nostalgia and introspection. It's a powerful reminder that life is fleeting and that we should cherish the moments that matter most. So, as someone who often struggles to say no, I know how difficult it can be to set boundaries, especially with loved ones. It's easy to feel like we are rejecting them or showing a lack of empathy. But sometimes saying no is the bravest and most caring thing we can do for ourselves and for others. So I'm reminded of a time when I was younger and working as a federal police officer. I was so eager to please my superiors that I never said no to any task, no matter how much interfered with my personal life. Even when I had a rare day off to explore a new city with friends, I would often find myself working instead. I was so determined to impress my bosses that I never questioned their motives, even when I was denied a promotion because of my gender. It's moments like this that remind me how important it is to stand up for ourselves and to pursue our dreams, even when others try to hold us back. I recently gave up on my dream of learning a new language to please my family, but I now realize that I need to follow my own path and not let fear or guilt hold me back. I want to teach to my children that it's okay saying no and to set healthy boundaries, even if it means facing difficult consequences. In the end, life is about making choices and learning from our mistakes. We must be true to ourselves and not let others define our worth or our destiny. So I will continue to work on saying no, to protect my well-being, and to inspire to my daughter and others to do the same. So thank you guys. Hi guys.
What do you think?
It is a, a very structured person when she make his her vignettes, and she has a very good pronunciation. She has an expanded vocabulary, and when I saw her vignettes, I get stuck looking at her stories, and she will continue that. I I stay in Spanish, qué es lo que sigue, qué es lo que va a continuar, qué uno como pegado. And congratulations for Edith, and she has very judicious with this process, and I noticed your commitment. Good job, Edith.
I like vignette by Eddie. She's very expression. Ella transmite.
Thank you, Diana. You're right. It's very clear that she is delivering a message both to us and to herself. And it's very honest. And she's very open. I think that this was a great topic just because people can feel that it takes them back to a moment in their lives where they grew up, where they realized that they needed to change something fundamental in their lives. And I love the part where Edith says, sometimes you have to be willing to accept consequences that are uncomfortable. And I also love the part where she says, it's hard to say no, especially to your loved ones, to set boundaries.
Johan,
Yeah.
Johan.
Oh, Johan, please.
Hey, sir. No, I just want to say that it was there were good advices. She was clear, and the thing I still, and I think all of we know, but we have to remind that is that we can make choices and learn from our mistakes, and we take that in advantage. So I think always we know about that, but sometimes we forget those simple things. So I think that I'm going to steal that advice, or I'm going to have it.
Good point. Thank you very much. Overall, a very strong message, right? Very strong message about the importance of setting boundaries and pursuing your own dreams, believing in your dreams. And it's clear that Edith is passionate about this topic because she's lived through it, because she's had to make choices. Very anecdotal, your presentation. You could also, like now being a little bit critical, you should find a way to connect it to a broader theme. Okay. Once again, I don't want to compare, but I want to say that, for example, Juanpa was very factual. And for example, other people have been more anecdotal. We have to find a way to organize the information so we can marry the two perfectly, especially because I'm also trying to get you prepared for future challenges, like when you're taking a test, one of those standard tests that we all fear and that they're so important sometimes in our careers and lives. And yeah, it's kind of finding that way to balance the two acts. But I really, really was touched by the level of depth, how much you risked by telling us about your life. And at points, I felt like you were under stress because you were visiting moments of your life, maybe. And that's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's artistic. And that's personal. And it's relatable. And it takes me back to similar moments in my life. And I thank you for that.
If there are something from people that I really admire is when they are humble. And when people is humble, they show us many knowledge in their life that I try to catch, right? To rob, to stall.
So yeah.
And I really admire the work from Edith in the last one and in this one, and two vignettes completely different. The another is more a film, and this is the same way she structured, and she really enjoyable, because the vignettes from Edith are very emotional, very passionate. So I just say thanks, because I really admire her job to give us. Thank you, Eddie.
Good feedback, Juanca. I think that you're right. She's challenging herself and we can see it. She's changing the styles of delivery and she's using different techniques, and that's wonderful. Johan was going to say something? I don't know. He's probably eating dinner by now. He loves frijoles, so maybe he's eating frijoles.
No, no, I did say before, but not now.
Your hand was still up. Okay, great. Thank you very much, Edith, again.
Thank you everyone. Thank you.
It's beautiful work that you're putting out for us to enjoy. Really is. We're really proud to have you. Thank you very much for giving us all this. All right. All right, so let's move on. And who's next? So let me see. Let me take a quick look.
United States girls.
Oh, United States girls. You're right. The United States girls. We have, how many United States girls do we have here? We have two, right? We got Anna and we got Angela, right? Geraldine is kind of dropping out. It's so sad. She's so great. Who knows? Anybody knows anything about Geraldine or other American girl? No? Who knows? We need to reach out to her, please. Let's give ourselves the task. Let's try to reach out to Geraldine. She's amazing. Okay. All right. So let's start with Ana America.
Hi, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about essentialism. And what is this for me? Essentialism is enjoy the basic things, the routine. But at the same time, is not limiting myself, is respecting my feelings while following my instincts. I understand that fear of the new and unknown doesn't have to hold me back. And a few years ago, I started asking myself a life-changing question for me. The question is, if they can do it, why can't I? And has been a game changer for me. I believe that at some point in your life, you shouldn't listen to anyone else and follow what you feel. Even if it seems a little crazy, after all, we came to live, not just to exist, right? So the special thing for me is enjoy and love my time, because my time is the most valuable thing that I have. I feel that when you become 100% real, authentic, many people may distance. Hi everyone, today I'm going to talk about essential.
All right. Ideas, comments.
Teacher, just wonderful, simple, wonderful. I like the way she shares her vignettes. It is very interesting, everything she says, and she really inspires. I love the way she expresses her ideas, and her accent is very nice. I love it.
She has a beautiful accent, doesn't she? Yeah, she does. You're right. And I love the point of view of that she brings up, where I'm sure that she is going through a process of her own. You know, like, I know that she's an immigrant in the United States, so that implies change and fear of the unknown, which she cites as factors that we need to control in life, because you got to live, right? We don't just exist. We got to make decisions. It's very actionable, I think, her conversation, because that's how it feels. Her conversation with us is very actionable. She gives us very interesting points. I think that the only thing that is missing a little bit here is a little bit more of the example. Okay? Like, give me an example, because that's where things start to get traction in my mind, because we are curious, and not only curious in the sense that I want to know what happened to you, but I also want to connect and know that what happened to you could have happened to me or someone I know, or could happen to me tomorrow. And I think that her experience is rich enough to have given her the topic, the knowledge that she dispensed in this vignette. I think that she has the direct experiences that she has translated into these wisdom points that she delivered. And yeah, I love the presentation, so fresh and so dynamic.
Sure.
Anybody else?
Sure, I think that I believe the America, she has a good level in English. She's very fluent and speak fluent and fast, and she can express her ideas clearly and naturally. Good presentation. I think that we can learn from her too.
She has an amazing style. Yes.
Yes.
She's very spontaneous.
She's authentic.
And you can see that she enjoys doing it, which is fantastic. And it's refreshing to us because, okay, great. She's having fun telling us all this. Like, she likes to do this. And that's inspiring because, yeah, sometimes we feel maybe, I don't know how you feel, but, you know, we can feel different things. But when we see that she enjoys it, that's the thing that we should all relate to and feel the same. You know, like enthusiastic about making this next vignette.
With Anna, I always ask me what the next with her. Mm-hmm. Because every week when she shows his presentation, I always take anything for something for me, for my process, for my idea about how can I do for improving my level. So she's enjoyable also. She's so spontaneous. She's so clear, and it's amazing. Another partner for taking advantage every time.
True.
With the process.
Absolutely. Good job. All right. Thank you very much. Let's move on. Don't forget to give her a big heart. Big hearts help. And who is next? Let me see. You got Berenice. Oh, Berenice. Our other Mexican. All right, it's here. Just post it.
Hi, teacher. Hi, group. I'm gonna talk why it's important to learn how to say yes and no appropriately in different situations, like in the workplace and personal life. Saying yes all the time can lead us an excessive workload and a feeling of not being able to meet everything. On the other hand, saying no can also be difficult, especially if we want to please others or don't want to disappoint them. It's important to learn how to set limits and communicate clearly what we can or cannot do without feeling guilty about it. One way to do this is by prioritizing our activities and tasks, setting realistic schedules and deadlines, and communicating clearly to others how much time we have available to help them if we can. And in the workplace, it's also important to know when to say no or yes to the task, because some responsibilities or that we don't have the ability to perform. So sometimes it's difficult to say no, and sometimes because we want to impress our superiors or fear losing our job. But it's important to be honest and communicate our limitation clearly and respectfully. In personal life, saying no can also be difficult, especially when it comes to friend or family. But it's important to remember that we have the right to set boundaries and prioritize our own needs and responsibilities. Saying no doesn't mean that we don't want to help or support others. It simply means that we need to take care of ourselves too. And I think if we learn how to say yes or no to friends or family appropriately is the key to maintain a healthy balance in our life and also in the workplace and in personal life. Bye. Hi, teacher. Hi, group.
Okay, one point that I pick up clearly in a presentation, which is recurrent, and it seems to be, one of the most important things in her presentation is learning to say yes and no. Okay, learning to say yes and no. So here is the opportunity for Berenice to give us something more beyond. Great presentation. I don't want to start on a slightly negative note. I'm just trying to fill in a gap that I saw, an opportunity that was missed. I want to start with that. Great presentation, but she has convinced me already that I need to learn to say yes and no. How cool would it be if Berenice, that has planted that in my brain right now, gives me a couple of actionable things that I can do in order to take steps, probably towards correction. Maybe she can give me, through her example, she can give me an example where she did it wrong, and I can relate, say, oh, shoot, yes, I do the same thing. Yeah. And how did she correct it to see if I can use the same strategy? Okay. I think that there's, again, like that balance between the topics, the facts regarding the topic, and the way that you have experienced this. Because, yeah, that was a little absent from Berenice's presentation, which once again, fantastic presentation, but I didn't get to know her better. Okay. Like, for instance, if I could take Berenice on this hand and Antonella on this hand and hit them together until they exploded into one single thing, that would be amazing. You know, if I could do that. Yeah, just saying. I felt that it was great, but I felt sometimes it left a little bit unsaid. And that really made me want more from Berenice. That's all I'm saying. Not saying that her presentation was this or that. I'm saying her presentation was very well delivered, very well organized, very logically planned. I loved it, but I want to know Berenice, you know, regarding this topic. That's the only thing that I missed. What do you think, guys?
I feel like in a TED conference. A TED conference with Berenice.
It's a TED conference. You're right. I mean, she gave us all the facts.
I didn't remember, right, really that show us last presentation, but I enjoy this presentation, this kind of pro topic in this job. I like it, and go ahead and. Because she invites us to know more about her.
True. Absolutely.
Berenice sound fresh when she was speaking, and I noticed that she can good pronunciation. And Berenice remind me a little bit Adri, because she can be reading the script, but you can tell that. I can notice that. I seen that she can expose the topic without read the script, and it looks fresh. I like that.
Good job. Yes, it was a good job. Very enjoyable, very informative. That's true too. All right. Thank you very much. Let's move on. Don't forget to give her a big heart, please. And let's go to another American girl. And
was changed my life a lot. I think that in making decisions to say yes or no, it is all important to have a very strong self-love. Always, I think of myself first. For many years, I always put in the first place my children, my husband, my mom, my whole family. But I have learned that I must think of myself first without causing injury to the others. For example, when I don't want to go somewhere, before I always say yes without wanting to go, but now I take the time to think and say what I would like, because my decision will make me feel good about myself. And besides, that is it is important to keep in consideration that we should not please everyone, going knowing our personal feelings. Hello, I'm thinking about this new topic.
anyone, come on, take a stab.
This is a strong message. Excuse me. Who is Edward?
Oh, go ahead.
Alexander. No, go ahead. You first. Don't worry.
Okay. Maybe it's a short video, but I think that she expressed her ideas with fluency, and she tried to be confident where she are speaking, and try to show us some example of her real life. That is very important because sometimes we just to please other, maybe because we need to, we want to complete, or yeah, just because we want please other, for we don't have any, or we don't know how can manage our time, or we don't know how can say no. That's the most important thing, that we need to continue working on that kind of skills and to manage that kind of situation. For example, if you want to go somewhere, you need to be clear with what do you want to do, and you need to have the ability to say no, I don't want to go there. You don't need to explain someone why do you don't want to go. You need to maybe all the people need to respect your ideas and your position. But yeah, I consider that she's very clear with his her ideas, and yeah, that's all.
Good point. I think that you picked up on the same stuff that I did, which was her example. The most direct example, the one that we can call her example was, if I don't want to go somewhere with my family, and it's family, it's family. Why shouldn't we go always with family? But sometimes you just don't want to go. That's it. And I felt completely like she was talking to me directly. I felt exposed because I'm like, I sometimes feel, because my family who's my family? My wife and my kids. How am I gonna, I'm a busy man, although my good fortune is that I work from home. I don't need to leave my home. But at the same time, sometimes I just want to be left alone. Besides, I'm an only child. I was used to being alone, right? So sometimes I need to be just left alone. And I don't want to go somewhere. I don't want to go eat frijoles tonight, for example, anywhere. I want to stay home. Maybe I'm tired. Maybe I'm in a different mood. Maybe I want to do something, right? Maybe I need to do something. Hey, maybe I want to meditate. But then there's this event and we're all invited. And sometimes I feel like I should be not invited. I felt the example. And maybe what she can do there, because she had us thinking, at least Alexander and I were thinking about this, maybe she could say, like, last night, something like that would be amazing. Okay. But obviously, once again, that's a step that you take. Okay. You don't need to be completely revealing of the way that you live your life, your lifestyle, your family. You should, take care of not revealing too much in these days. But if you take that extra step because it's safe to do it, that would be unbelievable, because maybe that would give me even more ideas. And if she can counter argue that with what she does and how she does it, how she says, no, I could learn something. Maybe the way I say no is not the way she says no, and I can learn something. But I'll shut up now. Anybody else? Juanca was gonna say something. Who else wants to say? Take your time now.
I would try to say that it's a strong message. It's a good message for us, because like her, when we dedicate in our family our wish or dreams, and focus our happiness, or their happiness is my happiness, is something normal that I feel sometimes frustration or the idea, the what if, in another kind or another decision. But I feel she's calm with this idea. She enjoys this situation, and she felt many things with the topic, and she tried to catch in her life the topic and the idea to say no in whatever situation, in whatever decision. So in summary, this presentation show us the family woman who enjoy this life, and she simply said the people around her is her happiness, right?
I want to mention something that Juan Carlos just mentioned. She felt many things. See that feeling right there? I can identify with that feeling sometimes. And that's phenomenal. She was reading, right? But she was feeling what she was reading, which is important. She was feeling it. That is wonderful. That we're seeing right there is amazing. Because now I believe what she's saying. She's very expressive. I love it.
Angela is a person who put a lot of effort in her vignettes. In fact, she is one of the first and the publish her vignettes, accomplished with her tasks. In spite of the video in this time was a little bit short, that the video show us that the vignette required. It's a good job for Angela. I like.
She fulfilled the task. That's right. And she's very, what can I say, charismatic. She's a very charismatic woman, and it's fascinating to hear her.
Sure.
That's why, maybe that's another reason why it was so short, because we wanted more from her. She's quite fun. All right, good job. Okay, so we got all our foreigners out of the way. Now let's focus on the local talent. Okay, so I believe that the first one to publish was Juliana, right? So let's visit Juliana.
Hi everyone, I find this topic very interesting because I believe that we have all say yes when we mean no. For example, it has happened to me in all areas of my life, from work to personal life, many times. I think I have done it because I wanted to satisfy other people, or simply not to look like a bad person. And last time I said yes when I wanted to say no was when my uncle asked me to do a civil lawsuit for free, and I wanted to say no because it requires a lot of time and effort, but I say yes because I didn't want to look bad. And many times similar things happen to me. It also happens to me that my friends invite me to go out and I say yes, but when the day comes to go out, I don't want to go. I'm lazy to organize myself, and I try to make any excuse not to go. It's bad, I know. And that's it. Hi everyone.
All right. Give me your reactions, guys. Yeah, Dante's here, so talk among yourselves while I get Dante out. Just give me 1 second.
I feel,
Quería mostrarse ahí, después después, después tranquilo. So what's going on?
I feel Juliana show us an anecdotic vignette in her own experience and the situation when people around her try to take advantage that she is taught to say no, to say no, right? So it's double, and I learned about her experience.
She's very spontaneous. I loved many parts of her vignettes because she really connected with me in that spontaneity. She laughed in a certain way. She made certain facial expressions. She changed her voice, her speed. She always looks at the camera. That's what I have always loved in her vignettes, that she's so comfortable in front of the camera. I love that, right? It's like she's talking to me. I'm sure that if she were talking to me, she wouldn't be so confident. You know, like she looks at the camera like she's looking into my eyes. I love it. And yeah, sorry to interrupt you, Eddie. I also want to point out that, okay, we all suffer from the same. We either take it too far to one side or to the other, okay? And if you notice, all of the vignettes that I have given you this year have a common structure. Take a look at this, and draw your own conclusions and connect them to your life. But don't forget that it came from here, okay? And I absolutely recommend that you read the book. I do. It's a marvelous piece, every chapter. It's very important to understand the concept. And especially in our endeavor, learning the language. If you notice, I have not pressed the issue on anything else this year, but just the vignette. Just a vignette. And I think that if you wonder sometimes, like, okay, so we're not doing anything else much than the vignette, really. I mean, like, yeah, we're doing many things, but the only one that really is kind of the center of attention is a vignette. Because I agree with Eddie, for example, and with the whole of the rest of the group that came from last year, that the vignettes are the way. So believe me, if you know that something really gives you what you want to get from this process, why not focus 100% on it? Why distribute the time in other tasks that are superfluous by comparison? If you know that this is what gives you the most benefit, then spend more time doing it. Don't be like, okay, but give me more exercises to do. Yeah, what are you asking for? Distractions? If you need more exercises to do the vignette 3 times, a different version each time, and then try to decide at the end. So if you were spending 2 hours on a vignette, now you're spending 6 because you made 3 of them. Force yourself to speak and to produce and to think original, authentic ideas and to speak them out clearly and to organize your concepts and to be very critical about it. You can also use ChatGPT to be more critical. You can ask the ChatGPT for feedback. Okay. So work on this. This is phenomenal. Yes, very anecdotal, but so fluent on so many different aspects. I loved it. Sorry, Eddie, you were going to say something.
Yes, I want to say that she looks spontaneous, and it was funny the part when she say, when she tell us the history, she say yes to everything, and in the last minute she changed her mind.
Her. I would hate her.
And make her an excuse, and she say no.
I know she's bad. I know it's bad. Yeah.
She learned from that. She learned from that and keep her appointments. It was that.
It's an amazing monologue. Yeah. She's lovely in that way that she can actually, be so spontaneous and open to what happens to her.
For sure.
All right. So that was our first local of the night. Let's visit her sister now. Her sister is Diana Quintero.
Hello. This topic made me think a lot. It made me reflect on life. I have been in both situations of saying no and yes to everyone. I think the worst was when I say no to everything. For example, when I was in the university, my friends invited me to go eat at the restaurant. No, because I must study. Diana, let's go to the disco. No, because I must study. Diana, let's go to the farm. No, because I must study. My parents told me, Carolina, that's what they called me, to go out to lunch. And I say, no, because I must study. I say no to practically everything because I have to study. And I am not exaggerating that how it was. There come a time when just because I stayed at the starting, my friends didn't ask me out anymore. I broke up with my boyfriend at the time, and I felt like I was alone for saying no to everything. So I made the decision to say yes to everything, and wonderful things happen. I say yes to a volunteering in another country with another language. I say yes to a parachuting from a plane. I say yes to going on many outings and meeting many people. I say yes to starting my entrepreneurship with a wonderful product. I say yes to going to therapy to help my emotional wounds. I say yes to continue my studies, even though I'm having a hard time now. I say yes to a falling in love. I say yes to a learning English. I don't say yes to everything. Now I have limits. I know myself better. I know what I think, I like, and what I want sometimes. I think that everything is a balance and extremes are bad, but I try to enjoy more everything.
Wow. Huh? Wow. Okay. I say yes. That's it. It's a new philosophy. We've been focusing on saying no, but she was saying no to everything except she never say no to studying. Back in the day, she never said no. I mean, it's like, it's a polarization that we have, and all she did was just switch it back. Amazing. And not only the content and the organization and what she presented as a topic, but how she was so spontaneous in everything, like even gasping and breathing between the sentences. The way that she did it was so authentically felt. I just was pulled into her being, and I loved being with her at that moment. But that's my observation. Once again, very anecdotal. Okay, very anecdotal. She could weave it, and this is the artistry. Aquí está la parte del arte, donde logras como enhebrar y pegarlo a otra cosa que sea como del general a lo específico y luego a lo general, algo así. But Wonderful. I mean, like, really? If I don't need to follow that topic from the book, if I don't need to mention the book at all, what I learned from the book, for example, I would say, don't change anything. This is amazing. And I would just change the title of this presentation to I Say Yes. Beautiful. I love it. I think that she should speak this in front of her whole class when she graduates. This should be her graduation speech, because it built her up and it helped me. I loved it. I loved it. Really did. Anybody who wants to take the next step, who wants to say something?
Teacher,
I want to say. Go ahead, Paul.
Sorry. Okay, thanks. Teacher, no, I really love it. This vignette takes me to the exercise, takes me to. I like so much her style. She's sincere, reflective, charismatic. I don't know. She has something that is very interesting to see. And maybe, I don't know, it shows how she is in the reality.
I think so. And I think this is the first time that I feel so connected with her vignette. Before, there was kind of a, you know, that fourth wall. But today she took a wrecking ball to that fourth wall, and I felt that she was telling me all this, and I needed to hear it. It was beautiful. It was the most authentic and the most savage, lo más salvaje que ha hecho esta mujer en este curso. It was great. It was amazing. I felt it. Anybody else?
I wanna say that Diana remind me of me a little bit, because she was absorbed by study a lot. She say no to everything that the people ask her. All time the people, Diana, maybe you can have we have a blast with us, with a party, with a play. I'd say no to everything. And I think that although Diana, I understood that Diana was broke with her boyfriend in her moment, because she say no to everything, and then her boyfriend broke with her. But she learned about the lesson, and she started to say yes, to appointments, to the people, to her family. And I don't know, it's a funny history and remind me of me a little bit.
She simply opened her heart and show us a authentic girl to invite to know many of her, many of things of her. So is a good presentation. Is something totally different than the last ones from her and from the another vignettes in this topic. So it was surprising for us, and it's a good job. Really, it's a good job. Congratulations, Diana.
Yeah, it was surprising. That was the edge. That was her advantage. Uncontested, very, very different from the rest. And that's what we sometimes need. We need somebody who can take that, you know, like, okay, I want to do something completely different. I mean, like, what is expected from me? And then try to find another way to say it. Not just the first thing that occurs to you. And sometimes you don't need to say exactly what people want you to say. There's one thing that maybe some of you would say as negative, her repetition, but I want to point out that repetition is a rhetorical device that, if used correctly, leaves a message that is impossible to forget. That's Dante. It's just crazy. Martin Luther King. Who will ever forget I Have a Dream? Never. Anyone will never forget. No one will ever forget Martin Luther King when he said, I have a dream, because that was his speech. I have a dream, this and that. I have a dream that the men of this country, I have a dream. I have a dream. And so you leave that, you leave that speech believing he has a dream. And when he says he has a dream, and I remember that, now I also have a dream, because that's what's on my mind. The message that Diana left us with is, I say yes. Okay. And that was amazing. And the way that she organized the repetition was just perfect. I think that when she got to the point, I mean, I don't know if it's the last part where she says, I said yes to falling in love. Obviously, we connect right there, because at some point we did the same, right? Even if it was just for a moment, or if we stayed married to that person, at some moment we decided, I'm going to take that big risk, and I'm going to say, I love you, and I'm going to accept you, that you love me, and we're going to get into the same vehicle to go somewhere together because we love each other. That was very astute. That was very astute, and that was impressive. Okay. And especially impressive that she could recognize the negative impact of always saying no, and then take action, demonstrate it in front of us, take action to change it by saying yes. This obviously flipped the arepa on all of us, right? It completely flipped the tortilla, because now we're like, oh, shit. So it's not about saying no. It's just about changing your mind.
No.
Correcting.
Not only say no means being selfish, and not only say yes means condescending. Is my idea with this presentation.
And ideally, we should all take this as a lesson from Diana to us, where she demonstrates how much you grow once you take a step out of your comfort. Her comfort was saying no. I mean, it was a no-brainer. She never thought about it. Carolina, her parents, let's go have dinner. No, I have to study. Sorry, no, because I must study. Her friends, let's go to a finca. No, because I must study. She had already memorized the answer to everything. That was her comfort. And by taking a step out of that comfort zone, she grew. So in that way, she provoked us to think differently. And for that, we have a lot to thank Diana for taking that risk and teaching us something. It was beautiful. It was great. It was great, really. I love that one. I mean, she should save it. She should save it. La debería guardar.
It's nice to see her tall.
Yeah. But she did this time. She had never done anything like this. Hoy se destapó completamente.
I think we never forget this presentation from.
No, we will never do.
I have a question. When we finish the vignette, the Angela vignette, you say that we continue with her sister.
Oh no! When I
feel right.
No, not Angela. No. When I finished with 1 second, Julie is her sister. Juliana, and Diana are sisters.
Okay, I got it.
Julie and Diana are sisters. They're both.
I didn't know. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Okay. Now we go with our archierofante.
That is a gossip.
Vamos con el archierofante de este grupo. Ya ustedes conocen a nuestros dos archierofantes, a los dos gigantes de este grupo, que son Paula y Eri, que siempre nos han ayudado mucho para los nuevos, siempre han sido un apoyo para todo lo del grupo. Ahora,
y Juan Carlos con el látigo.
Ahora Paula está un poquitico atareada y bueno, y ahora que ha sido operada, pero bueno, esperemos que tenga un pronto, que sane pronto y que esté muy bien pronto, porque como le decía yo a ella esta mañana, es una mujer que es muy importante en el grupo. Así como Eri, así como todos, yo creo que Juan Carlos también toma un rol muy decisivo aquí en el grupo. Bueno, ya cada quien, yo creo que he recibido notas de gente que dice como, por ejemplo, como que el año pasado, como que Paula tiene todo el tiempo del mundo, que siempre está conectada. Sí, hay gente que si tiene el momento ahora, Paula estaba desconectada, que es lo opuesto, porque no ha tenido tiempo. Pero si usted tiene el tiempo, ¿por qué no lo invierte acá? ¿Sí? ¿Sí? Just, be ready to practice and to build a community. Okay, so let's listen to Eddie.
Guys, regarding with the vignette for this week, this topic reflect a little bit on the productions of the days, because I am a person who likes please people and not be able to say no. I always end up saying yes to everything that the people ask me. By trying to do more, I end up doing less. Worse, I end up exhausted with the 50% that the goal set. And this let me think that I give priority to the most important things, and I learned to say no to the most relevant things. Guys, I'm gonna make a conscious exam. What I really gonna change in my routine. I don't know, for example, in my work, many times people ask me for favors, and for being things of others, I stopped doing my activities. I don't fulfill my tasks. To go no far away, the same thing happens to me with my family, because I say yes to all the things that they ask me. I end up doing half of the things because I don't have enough time to accomplish everything. Guys, finally, I have learned to be focused in my decision-making process, and this helped me to feel satisfied and less stressed. I have given priority to what really matters, and this way I accomplish the goals that really worth it. Okay guys, that's it. I hope you like this video, and thanks for listening. See you.
All right. Reactions. Say something to Eddie.
Juanca, say something, bro.
I'm sorry, in the half of the vignette was pricing here, so I will try to listen in my flip, my own flip, and and next one I will give my opinion. Next time, please.
Don't worry.
Yes, I want to add that Eva always try to be spontaneous and try to speak without following a reading or something like that. I consider that he did a good exercise, and yeah, I totally agree with what he said, that we need to have a balance between what is important and what not, because sometimes we need to be careful with our family or our important things. So that's why I consider that Eva express his ideas with a clear example, and with a very important message for us.
Okay, I finished.
Thank you, Alex.
I think Edward fears about the people's thought about his decision for saying no. So he still fears about that, and just only try to say him. People know you, and surely they should or must accept your decision about your things or your thoughts for get over the situations. Okay, I don't know if I don't clear or I try to say clear. And but the presentation in overall is good, is sincere, and is so reflective about the decision to say no, assertive, being assertive because when you say no and you increase the relation, or the next step is the idea in this topic. It's not say no for stuck the situation, or for talk in say way, or for cut for cutting the situation about this expression, this answer of that. I hope very clear, and I really congrats to Edward in this job. It's quite sincere for us.
You sound more clear than the Medellín River, Juanca. Thank you, bro.
I like the way he delivered this vignette. Eddie has come a long way, and this is the best delivery that I have seen by him. Completely poised and ready for every word that is coming out of his mouth. I like it. It sounds like it's really flowing from somewhere. I mean, all that he's saying. The only thing, Eddie, is I would like to get a little bit more personal with you because I know you so well. But then again, that's something that you decide. Okay? How much you want to reveal? Can you say something like, okay, my son, who's now blah, 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 told me yesterday. And at that moment, I had the material for this vignette because at first I said yes, and it's my son. Something, you know, look, what I'm giving you is not just like what you need to do. It's just an example. I think that everything you said to us was great. The only thing that is going to make it different from the previous guy, from the next guy, is the names that animate your story. Not just my son, my family. If I say my wife and you say my wife, what's the difference between the two of us? Right?
Yes, I'm gonna try to do that and bring the little bitty histories with my son, with my wife. I don't know. I try to say the import some, take cat some or bring cat to my vignettes.
It has a double application, I'm gonna say. One is, in the end, Eddie, you're learning to speak English in such a way that you are ready to use it. So when you use it with the people that you trust, which is the people that you talk to normally, your friends and family from another country now, what are you going to talk about? You're going to talk about your wife. You're not going to talk about the concept of wife, for example. But then again, the other application is whether you feel comfortable revealing that to us. It's a choice, and I don't want to press it. Everybody makes that decision. So all I'm saying is that it's a marvelous presentation, on point delivery, point by point. I enjoyed it. So poised, so in control, so palpable, everything, except for the fact that you didn't land one single concept into reality by saying my wife, my son, my friend Giovanni told me, and then I had to say no, something like that. You know, like, it really is enriching and it deepens the message, which was already very good, very well presented, very well organized. But yeah, we need that point. But maybe that's once again a matter of contention in ourselves. Do I feel comfortable? But if you do, don't forget to do it. It's risky, but it's worth trying because it really makes you feel more authentically, and it prepares you for real life, because you're never going to talk about wives or kids. You're going to talk about your kid and your wife, for example. Just saying, but great. I loved it. Delivery is my take on this vignette, and it was very elegant, very poised. That's my word. Poised delivery.
Edward, I love the way you express yourself, and I share your thoughts. You handle the camera very well. Wow, amazing.
Thank you, Angela. And try to use the camera from the beginning. When the last year starts with the vignettes, I always do my vignettes with my cell phone and try to walk with my cell phone and try to. And I used to do that in this way.
Oh my God! For me, it's difficult, but I try. So amazing. Yeah.
Okay, for sure. Thank you.
We have here Johan, Diana, Pau, Adri, Alexandra, and Navega. Does anybody need to leave? Do you want, if anybody needs to have your vignette viewed now, speak now, and I can do it. If you need to do something, I know that this turns into long production, is now 9:11. This easily can run until 10:30 or more. So you don't want to stay up, and you don't need to stay up. If you need to get up early tomorrow, etc., you need to brush your teeth right now, you haven't eaten dinner, I don't know what your situation is, just let me know and I can accommodate. At any point, just let me know, oh, hey, brother, I would like to go next, and I will accommodate. And if nobody speaks up, then we'll continue with the next, which is Paula.
Hi, teacher Fabian. Hi, people. Let's talk about my reflection. is based on procrastination in putting myself aside, putting the interests of others first. I do this with my family very often. Not only with my family, maybe in my study. I have left things pending, things still aside for a time, or better for not knowing how to prioritize myself and be in the foreground. Sometimes I often feel that I don't advance. I get frustrated. It's true. I feel that when I don't have 24 hours a day to learn vocabulary, to listen to a podcast, to read, and filing. And it's not like that. So much that this week I collapsed. My head, my brain, my body very weak. Put me to rest, to not think, to not read, to not think about many things at the same time. So people, life invites me to stop, okay? Invites me to reflect, to make a list, and when you are in it again, my prioritize change, and everything is so simple with only one name in capital letter, and it's yours first, and it's no selfishness. It's self-love. It's taking care of yourself and giving you the well-being you need. If you are well, the others will be well as well. Thank you, Teacher Fabian. Thank you, everyone.
I know that Paula is not in her best place right now, and she hasn't been for the last two vignettes, but for whatever reason, those happen to be my favorite vignettes because she manages to descend to such a depth and touches rock bottom in front of us and is achieved through dramatics, through the theatrical, which is completely spontaneous, I can see. And her pronunciation is just on point every time. Amazing. It's a beautiful thing to see. It's a beautiful thing and a very enjoyable thing to see because of the composition of movement, both in her body and her speech. Is a reflection that is completely uncooked, is unprocessed by her mind. She just feels it through her body in front of our eyes. And I adore it. And I applaud it. And I celebrate it. I think that she is making it past her own expectations. And of course, there comes a point where we burn out, just like the phoenix in the old mythology. And then after the phoenix is consumed in the flames, there comes out the ashes, and that's the true phoenix. You know, maybe I got it there. I got the whole thing wrong. Maybe it's from the ashes is where the phoenix comes out, but you get my point. The point is that she burned out, and she confessed that tonight to us. She burned out. She tried to do many things, and she did it for a while. I mean, last year she was amazing. I think I want to venture a hypothesis that comes from observation because of her constant effort investing herself into this group, into this project exists today. So she burned out. That's the cost. That's what you have to pay. That's like your life just taxes you at some point. And if you don't have enough in your bank, in terms of energy, you collapse. Her words, I collapsed. And again, I know that I shouldn't say this, but I celebrate her collapse because it both shows her courage, and it might not be revealed to her immediately, but to me, it starts to be evident that she is going to be such a great human being / professional in whatever field that she wants to pursue, teaching being the most obvious right now because of her training, but she could be whatever she wants to be. And I feel privileged to have her in the group. And so should everybody here. She's great. Okay, her name is Paula Sanchez Ocampo, and she just did a wonderful vignette. But I hear your ideas again. Very anecdotal, but she kind of married the two things. I don't know if it was my perception, but yeah, I think that she managed well. But what do you say? What did you observe? What are your takes?
Yeah, sure. I agree with you, Fab. She sounds a little bit slow when she speaks because she always speaks high with the happiness, with the her voices. I listen her voice very happy. You know, she's a person that she has a lot of discipline, constancy. But she told me yesterday that she was gonna make her vignette with a little bit energy because she has focused in her surgery for today. But I applaud her effort, her constancy, her discipline. And how you say, Fat, she was a person that in this time I listen the other way, and I like that vignette, the way how she do it. She did this work, this history for this time.
She did great.
That's it.
And she was amazing.
I just say when people is under pressure, she gives their artwork. So in this case, I just can't define this presentation from Paula, her artwork, because it's so enrichment our process, because it's quite emotional.
True. Amazing. And I think that, you know, like maybe it's ironic, don't you think? That's the song from Alanis Morissette. It's a little bit ironic, and I believe so, because right now that she's beat, she's in Spanish mamada, está cansadísima, está agotada. She comes out so powerful. I don't know if it's me, if I'm biased, si estoy sesgado, but these two latest presentations have been so powerful. Maybe it's an energy reserve that she has, or maybe it's that not having her usual energy, something essentially Paula that normally we don't hear, we came to hear, which is ironic because we had to wait until she was down and out and done. And then it's like, wait a second, Paula, I never heard you like that. So powerful. I've said, but don't believe me. Just watch her again if you don't believe me. But anyway, anybody else wants to say something? Or let's move on. Let's move on. Yes,
I
Paula.
just want to say something else.
Yes.
Even with her business and with her little energy, she is still great. She's still Paula.
She is. She is. She continues to be a monster of a woman that we know that wants to do many things and manages quite well. And yeah, circumstances have kind of pulled her apart right now because you can do only so much, and she has done much more than that. Okay, I appreciate her work, and well, this is the end result. But she's the Paula that we know. Yes, thank you for that, Pau. You're amazing.
I love your hair.
You love her hair? Yes, that's the thing that we know her for.
She looks beautiful.
La pelirroja, hermosa. All right, let's move on, guys. Who's next? Next comes Adriana Gallo from Bello.
Hi people, as I reflect on my daily routine, I can't help but feel overwhelmed by the sheer number of tasks I'm in the state. It seems like I'm constantly holding multiple responsibilities. Some that are vital to me personally identify as a mother, wife, and guy. And others that are more superficial and merely add to my workload. But why do I subject myself to this constant state of businesses? Perhaps it's a desire to feel productive or a fear of wasting time. Whatever the reason, it's become clear to me that I need to take a step back and reevaluate my priorities. It's time for me to start delegating tasks and learning to say no when I feel overwhelmed. I need to develop a clear strategy for achieving my goals rather than flying from one task to another with no real sense of direction. One technique that I plan to implement is the Golden Node. Golden Node is a strategy dedicating a specific amount of time to each task before moving on to the next. But it's not just about managing my time more effectively. I also need to be more conscious of the amount of the time I spend on social media and ensure that the content I'm consuming is truly worth my time. More importantly, I need to remind myself that true productivity isn't about completing as many tasks as possible. It's about doing each task with intention and purpose. By adopting this mindset to feel great fulfillment in both my personal and professional pursuits. Okay guys, this is all for today. Take a good night. Bye, see you. Hi people. As I reflect on my daily routine, I can't help but feel overwhelmed by the sheer number of tasks I'm in the state. It seems like I'm constantly holding multiple responsibilities. Some that are vital to me personally identify as a mother, wife, and guy. And others that are more superficial and merely add to my work life. But why do I subject myself to this constant state of businesses? Perhaps it's a desire to feel productive or a fear of wasting time. Whatever the reason, it's become clear to me that I need to take a step back and reevaluate my priorities. It's time for me to start delegating tasks and learning to say no when I feel overwhelmed. I need to develop a clear strategy for achieving my goals rather than flying from one task to another with no real sense of direction. One technique that I plan to implement is the golden node. Golden node is a strategy dedicating a specific amount of time to each task before moving.
You're on mute, Fabian.
Sorry. We need to know more about Adriana's background because she is trained to do this, to give us feedback about how we live our lives. And she's telling us about how she lives her life and how she needs to improve what she does so well already. And she gives us one tool, which is called delegation. Delegation, which is going to help her just try to do one thing and then another and fly from one task to the other. And I think that's relevant to all of us. Okay. I think that the poor lifestyle that we may have in life depends on how much we decide to do on our own, because if we don't do it, who else is going to do it as well as I do? You know, that can happen anywhere. It can be mom, dad, and we need to delegate. That's one true kernel or peril of wisdom that she leaves here. Okay. Very interesting the way that she analyzes it, and great amount of energy in this presentation. I know that she feels excited talking about this because this is maybe one of her topics. What do you think, guys? How do you react to her presentation?
I feel
Adri is
very
a person
confident.
who looks.
Sorry, Ed.
No, don't worry. Go ahead, Anita.
Unless the topic, I feel like she was very confident and very fluent with the topic.
Very, you're right. This is her topic. She's a coach. This is her topic. And she studies and she enjoys learning about neuro-linguistic programming. And I think that that's what we all eventually are talking about here. When we say this vignette made me think about, we're trying to see how we're programmed and try to take a step back. Like she says, you need to take a step back and reevaluate how you live life. Because we can understand it logically, we can understand it on the paper. But when we're living our lives, it's impossible sometimes to break patterns of behavior. Let's say, for example, Angela is the one that does the shopping at home. To give you an idea, Angela does the shopping. So what happens? After 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years of Angela doing the shopping, she's an expert at doing the shopping. She knows where to shop, where to buy, what to buy from. And eventually, if her husband decides to step in and do the shopping, he's going to mess it up. And she's going to know, right? And Angela is the first to notice because she's the expert. But now Angela not only does the shopping, but she does the laundry and she does the this and the that, and she's got the kids. And so somebody needs to pick up the shopping. But Angela is nervous because she does it so well, and everybody else is also nervous because they don't do it that well. Well, suck it. ¿Sí? Como decimos en español, de malas. Suck it. I mean, like, it's like when you have a company. You have a company and you have certain people working for you. Those people have learned through the years and they become seniors at their jobs. But if they leave, what can you do? If the next person that comes doesn't have the same level of expertise, they can be very experienced, but not from within the company. So you're going to start again learning with these people. I'm sorry, Angie. I mean, I'm just projecting on you. This is probably more about me. I'm sorry, Angie, but I know you're the expert, but I'm sorry. Let your husband do the shopping if he says that he can do it now, if he volunteers to do it. I know it's going to suck. Let him learn. That's it. But sometimes we're like, no, I'll do it. Then I'll do this and I'll do that and I'll do the other and I'll go crazy and I'm going to kill myself and everybody else in the process. Angie, what were you saying?
Maybe, teacher.
It happens. It happens in every home. I'm
Always.
sure that Eddie can do things that nobody else can do like Eddie does. So Eddie does it just because he's Eddie and he does the things that Eddie does. Same with Anna, Alex, at work or at home, you always have that position where you're like, no, I have to do it because if I don't do it, who's going to do it as well as I do?
It's true.
Delegating. Big lesson from Adri. What else do you see?
So maybe.
So maybe.
Maybe the guys not doing well the task.
Yeah. We normally mess up when we're giving jobs by our wives. We mess up big time. I always do. I'm always nervous because I mess it up every time. Oh, but you should have. Yes, but I didn't. Sorry.
And your wife said, what? Oh, she's relaxed.
No. No, I'm sorry. No, that's not my situation. But it's one of those things in life that you have to learn from, you know? So very interesting topic. Anybody else has anything on Adriana? And I want to thank her. Yes.
Fab, I just want to say that my connection is bad. I lost my connection tonight because my internet is bad. I lost my connection several times. I can show all the video, but I want to say that Adri is a person who always looks fresh and natural when she speaks, and she see me a little bit like Berenice styles.
Yeah.
I don't know if I saw that or maybe you saw this style is similar to Berenice and Adri when she is speaking and she doesn't that seeing that she was reading. She's speaking that she looks like the TED conference.
She manages herself quite well. And we don't know how much she reads. I would say that probably Adri ad-libs, which means she reads between the lines and she spontaneously just intersperses different things that come to mind at the moment of speaking. But she does it quite well, yes. And I loved her level of energy tonight. She seemed more confident than usual. Maybe because this is a topic that is, you know, one of her study topics. So that's good. And I still delegate.
To the next.
Okay. All right, guys, let's move on. Let's move on. Anybody who needs to leave soon, let me know. I know we have Anna, Johan, Pau, and Diana, Alexander. Just let me know. Otherwise, I'll keep on moving through the guys. All right, so next is Ana Maria Vega.
Hello, everyone. This is something that I've been thinking about lately because it's not always easy to know when to say no to people, even when we know we could. I'm the kind of person who wants to be there for my family or my friends whenever they need me or they want. But sometimes saying yes to everything can leave me feeling overwhelmed and burned out. It's taken me a while to learn how to set boundaries and say no when I need to, because I worry that people think I was being selfish or unhelpful. But also, I've realized that taking care of myself is just as important as helping others. It's okay to prioritize my own goals and needs, even if it means turning down a request or invitation from someone else. Of course, and I know, there are times when it's important to put others first. For example, in an emergency situation or when someone is really in need of my help. But for the most part, or right now, I'm learning to be more mindful of how I'm spending my time and energy, and to make choices that align with my own values and goals. For example, last weekend, some coworkers asked me for help to turn in assignments, and when I got home, I felt I was too tired to record my vignette. And during the week, I felt terrible. But also, that's why today, even though I went out partying on Friday, I exercised yesterday, and I had a birthday lunch with my family out of the city, today I'm here recording my vignette because it's what I want to do, it's my responsibility, it's my effort, and no one else will do it for me. So, well, it's not always easy to strike a balance between helping others and taking care of ourselves, or do what we want. But I believe it's important skill to develop. By being mindful of our own needs and boundaries, we can show up as our best self and be there for people we care about in a sustainable way. And that's it.
I was going to say that should be it, because that was a perfect ending to such a wonderful speech. And because it resonates with you, Anna, being sustainable. Very nice. Very, very nice. Very, very well put. Very smart talk. I loved it. So rounded, and you accomplished. You checked all the boxes. Really good. I'm very excited about this presentation, Anna. I think it's your best so far. Should be, right? And I think that the effort pays off. Great job.
And actually, yes, it's a good skill that we have to develop.
And you look great in this vignette as well. You look so confident. Did you like it? Did you like yourself in this vignette?
Of course, I use ChatGPT.
That's amazing. Look, the way you sounded is amazing. And yeah, Chat told you what to say, but you said it so well. And obviously it was about you. Chat was giving you exactly what it's you. I loved it.
Now I'm trying to
give me 1 second,
write
Juanita,
in English.
Johan, wanna say something?
Yeah, wait, I cut Anna short and then goes Johan. Go on, Anna. What were you saying?
I'm saying that I'm trying to do writing in English and not using DeepL just for correct or fix some specific words. And after that, go to ChatGPT.
You can
but
also do
not
the
use
same
the
with
Spanish.
chat. You can write in English and then say, fix the mistakes or improve this text. And then give me more options in different styles. Yeah, play with it. And that's the technology. It's the moment. We have access to this, which is something that people today is not by learning the vocabulary and the grammar that we need to say what you just said, which was fantastic, is taking all that, which is already there for you, and communicate it in the most spectacular way, like you did. Because you did. Sounded spectacular. Didn't you feel that way? I felt that way, and I'm sure the guys felt that way. You were spectacular. Johan.
Man, no, you said all. No, I'm joking. No, I like the Anna's speech, and I like that she talked about mindfulness. So I think it's important to be aware of all our environment, and it applied to every subject. So I like that. In the other speeches, I had some internet issues, but I didn't hear about mindfulness. I don't know if they mentioned, but I like that part. It was new.
Yeah, it's a very clear and interesting and engaging speech. And personal too. She managed to personalize it via examples. All right, Anna. So you did a fantastic job. So what's next? This is like when the judges at America's Got Talent say, okay, girl, you've been selected. I'll see you wherever, I don't know, Vegas, New York, I don't know. And then since you already proved that you got it, how are you going to impress people next? That's what you always have to think about. You have made it here to this stage. How are you going to stay ahead of yourself? What are you going to do next? You know, you're doing quite well, by the way. I'm very proud of you. All right, let's continue then. This is very exciting. I think that this was a very nice topic. I'm loving everything that you guys coming up with in these vignettes. I mean, the explorations, the way of presenting the information, your insights. Let's listen to Paola Cristina, la famosa chica de los likes.
Wow, this vignette really manages to touch me and move me enormously because in retrospect, it has been a situation that has arisen on many occasions in my life. That is prioritizing the welfare or decision of others over what I want and think. I think it all starts from my upbringing because, to be honest, my siblings and I were educated from the submission and think first in others than in ourselves. It has been difficult to deal with these learnings during my life because what your family teaches you in childhood has a great weight in adulthood. However, unfortunately, each process and stage in my growth have helped me to unlearn a little overlapping the needs of others above my own. My time in college, my first relationships, and my friendships were of vital importance to help me strengthen my criteria and my ways of acting. Learning from my mistakes have given me valuable lessons that have taught me to prioritize what I want, what makes me grow as a person, and above all, what makes me happy. And as life is so beautiful, it made me a teacher, and as such, I like to emphasize to children the concept of criteria and self-esteem. I think they are two concepts that make perfect match with essentialism. I want them to begin to prioritize their desires from their childhood, but without trampling or overshadow the brightness of others. Well, this vignette really manages to.
Very entertaining. I don't know if it's the hands. I don't know if it's the position of her body. She always manages. That's why I call her la chica de los likes, porque también le da muchos likes, le da muchos corazones. She's amazing. She's an amazing communicator by now in English, and I'm very proud of this. My takeaway is unlearning. You have to unlearn.
Yeah.
True.
I was going to say the same.
It is so true, Johan. I mean, like, I was, because I give you this task, I start listening to the book during the weekend, and I start to think exactly the same thing, like, why do I behave in the way that I do? Because I behave in a way that is like, I have this unquenchable thirst to find new things, to learn new things. And I start thinking, now that I'm reading the book, I start thinking about my dad. My dad came from humble beginnings. And my dad always taught me, whenever someone says that they need something, even if you don't know it, say that you can do it, because that's how you get opportunities in life. And I guess it's a good strategy, but I think that you have to understand when it applies. And maybe it became my comfort. My mom was always studying. She was always looking up information, and she was always accumulating information. She was a walking library. And maybe sometimes I feel that I tend to be that way. I don't know why. So there are things that definitely we have to unlearn. So what do you do? And why am I making a vignette right now, right? What am I going to do? I'm going to, what I'm going to do? I'm going to take about 60 books out of here, and I'm going to donate them, because I feel that maybe at some point there is something in those books that I want to look at again, because I used to read a lot, books. I don't read anymore. I listen. But I used to read, and so I accumulated books. I should have much broader library than I actually do. But with the books that I have right now, I'm sure that I have time already dedicated to them at some point to revisit something. So what I'm going to do tomorrow, or the next, or the day after, hopefully tomorrow, is I'm going to donate 60 books. Just going to not even look at them. And my heart breaks, because I'm thinking, I still need to get something out of that book. So that's my realization. And Pao made me think of that right now. What do you have to say, Johan?
I was going to say the same about unlearn. That's true. And the other thing is that I was I was like hearing kindly, and I was hearing her, and when she were going to finish, I were going to say her what mistakes she had, but I didn't find anything, any mistakes. So I mean, it was like the perfect fluency and pronunciation. It was a good video.
She sounded smart and she sounded beautiful. It was very beautiful English. But she's been working on it. I mean, it's inevitable. She's been working on it. She's been very judicious about her effort. And I'm sure that it's not easy. I mean, from what she relates tonight to us, I know that it's not easy. I mean, it's not easy for anyone. I don't think that you have extra hours any day of the week to study or to get better. Like Anna said, well, I want this. It's my duty or it's my responsibility. And nobody else is going to do it for me. So I got to do it because I want it. And I think that if you can go back in time to the most successful moment of your life, because we all have those. We all have those moments where we felt that we were giving our best. It was because we were focused on one single thing that we wanted to accomplish. Everything else was forgotten. I think that's the original state of flow, when nothing else takes your attention away. That happens when you're in love. Okay, or that first impact of falling in love that you say, I'm in love with this person. It's like it's like everybody else turns into a shadow. You can be with the most spectacular human being on an elevator, the two of you looking at each other, and this person is just a shadow. But anyway, I digress. Me voy por las ramas. Fantastic production. You would say, pero parce, o sea, como que le dieron cuerda a usted, ¿no? Exactly. That was the effect that Pau had on me. And if you agree, let's move on. Thank you, Pau. That was beautiful. That was fantastic. I loved it. And who's next? We got Luis Alberto.
I want to tell you that since I left school, I have been looking for a way to grow professionally. That oriented me to study hard, to achieve it, and to open a space for myself in the work environment. So my priorities are to learn more every day to offer my knowledge to companies. At this point in my life, I ask myself, should I dedicate all my life to work in projects of other companies, businessmen, or people? Or should I look for my art projects, develop my art ideas? Lately, I have been thinking that even a business that has nothing to do with my career could bring me better benefits, more tranquility, more growth. In conclusion, the essentialism applied in my life would be that we could one day reap the fruits of so much hard work for ourselves and our families. Thank you so much for listening. Bye, guys.
Very nice, very well constructed. I like the reflection, and it leads inevitably to the observation at the end with a very fitting conclusion. And I think more than anything else is an entreaty, it's an invitation. It's an urgent invitation disguised as a reflection that we need to do what we think our heart is telling us that we need to do. Because definitely our heart sometimes speaks in ways that the mind doesn't understand, and we catch the thought of the heart spontaneously, and then we think, oh, I think my heart is thinking, but we dismiss. It's like, okay, no, whatever. It's the heart, okay? I think it becomes obvious when you have a talent. If you have a talent, are you going to give your talent to a company? Or are you going to use it to build something up? Yeah. All right. So continuing. Who has anything to say about Luis? Short, but powerful, right? What do you think? Let's listen to it again.
I want to tell you that since I left school, I have been looking for a way to grow professionally. That oriented me to study hard, to achieve it, and to open a space for myself in the work environment. So my priorities are to learn more every day to offer my knowledge to companies. At this point in my life, I ask myself, should I dedicate all my life to work in projects of other companies, businessmen, or people? Or should I look for my art projects, develop my art ideas? Lately, I have been thinking that even a business that has nothing to do with my career could bring me better, better benefits, more tranquility, more growth. In conclusion, the essentialism applied in my life would be that we could one day reap the fruits of so much hard work for ourselves and our families. Thank you so much for listening. Bye, guys.
The final observation is, even if it's a business that is unrelated to your career, if it allows you to reap the fruits of your hard work, to give them back to your family and to yourself, isn't that the best way to lead your life? That's his observation. And I think it's a clear message that works as an invitation for a lot of people like you and me. The decisions we make, it's time to take courage and start developing our own ideas. Even if you are a teacher and you decide to become a dancer. Don't know, just thought about it. All right, good job, man. I love it. Great, great, great. Let's move on. Ana Cristina.
Hi guys, the topic of this week's vignette is just what I have been doing all this year. I realized that I want to do many things, but the days are not enough and at the end of the day, so I can't do everything in the best way. For this reason, I decided to focus on the activities that will push me to get where I really want, take care of my energy and invest my time very well. So I have spent my whole life of activities, and now that I am a mom, much more. So I agree with the sentiments, maybe do less things, but do them well is a better option. Activities have been personal goals. No one has imposed them on me, so I want to be more flexible, and the activities in which I focus really do them well. Last year in December, I built a schedule to do everything I want to do besides work. For example, go to the gym 4 times a week, participate in English classes at least twice a week, read every night for at least 30 minutes, get into tango classes once a week, study about topics on psychology, for sure spend time with my child. So no doubt I didn't make it. I barely had time for a coffee, and that made me rethink what really matters, and I decided to focus my time and my energy on studying psychology. After graduating more than 10 years ago, today I am starting a degree in psychology, but I feel very happy. I am so excited because I am hearing a call from my heart toward that purpose in life that I have struggled so much to find. So it's very nice for me today, this new path. So I also decide to focus on English. For me, it's not an option to leave English aside. I really dream of speaking English fluently with my son. Another important thing I decide to invest my time is exercising my body as the way to get more energy and clarity during the day. And finally, hi guys, the topic of this week.
Right, all right. And finally, we are so animated by this way of presenting her life. And finally, we missed it, but it's amazing. I learned something new. I learned something new right now. I guess I'm leaving behind the old structure. We all get it. Maybe we have a more anecdotal presentation or a more factual one, and some people manage to bring the two together, but I'm going to leave it behind because it's becoming old. We all get it. If you heard it and you thought it was about you, then do something about it. And I'm going to focus on what I learned from Anna. She says, nobody imposed those goals on me because I'm a grown-up. So I need to become flexible. And she gave us examples. Yeah, it takes me back to whatever I want to do. The problem is that sometimes we want to do more, but we only have the same 24 hours. And so how crazy is that, that sometimes we demand more from us, ourselves? So I guess something important that I learned from her presentation about being flexible is sometimes you just have to say no to yourself. It's not just saying no to everybody. It's also saying no to yourself sometimes. I mean, once again, is taking a step out of your comfort. If your comfort is to push more and more every time, for whatever reason, because you want to save more money, because you want to lose more fat, because you want to get smarter, and so you want to read more, etc., then sometimes you just have to say no, because you have to identify, hey, things are getting crazy and my day continues to be 24 hours only. So I have to take it easy, be flexible. That doesn't mean that you have to stop doing what you love to do. If you love running, fine, run. You could only run 5 kilometers today because you only have that time. Then don't stop running, go run 5 kilometers. Oh, but tomorrow you can run 20. Good, take advantage of that. I'll give you a specific example. So sometimes I wouldn't go out for a run because I didn't have time. But I could have run 15 minutes, better than nothing. So I guess that if you adopt something as your goal, be flexible, Ana says. And if you learn to be flexible with yourself, then you can accomplish more. And I'm really glad that she's enjoying herself now that she's learning, that she's studying psychology. Great presentation. Anybody else has anything to say? Very exciting, like every time.
Fab, I just want to say that it was a great video, an excellent video. I just only found a mispronounced word. The word was she say focus, and she say focus, and she's the correct form is focus.
Focus. That's right.
The only detail. The rest of the video was amazing.
Oh, she's
only
amazing.
that.
Right. Good ear, my friend. Good ear. Good ear for picking out mistakes. Great. Anybody else wants to say something to Ana? To Ana Cristina, our dearest. All right, so then move on to Alexander.
Hi, everyone. I used to work at a company where I was constantly saying yes to every project and task that came my way. I wanted to prove myself as a hard worker and team player, but over time, I realized that I was stretching myself too thin. I was working long hours, sacrificing my personal life and not doing my best work because I was so overwhelmed. This type of situation is very common because many times we do not have the ability to say no. I used to have a hard time saying no to requests from friends and colleagues. I wanted to be helpful and supportive, so I would often take on tasks or commitments that weren't essential. Over time, I realized that I was getting strength too thin and not making progress on my own goals and projects. I was sacrificing my sacrificing my own time and energy for the sake of others, and it was taking a toll on me. So I started evaluating requests more carefully. I would ask myself if the task aligned with my goals and values, and if it was something that only I could do. If the answer was no, I would decline or delegate the task. And then I started saying no to requests that didn't align with my goals and values. For example, if a project was in a high priority or didn't fit with my strengths, I would decline it or suggest someone else for the task. I also learned that prioritize the time and focus on my most important tasks each day. By becoming more effective about the requests I accepted, I was able to focus on my own priorities and make progress on my own goals. I also found that people respect my time and boundaries more when I was clear about what I could and couldn't do. It was always it wasn't always easy to say no, but it allowed me to be more effective and productive in the long run. Thank you.
Something important that I pick up here from Alex is the ideal of honesty, which sometimes we kind of I don't know what the word is. Do we negate? Do we hide from others? Do we mask? What do we do with honesty, especially in our first years at work, for example? To give you an example, when you first start your first job, obviously you want to prove yourself as a very proactive person that is ready to take on any job, and you're the guy that always takes the fall for anybody. Oh, Andres is sick and he can't come on Sunday. Somebody needs to fill in. The new guy. Yeah. When honestly, you really know that you shouldn't do it because Sunday is family time. But you're young, inexperienced, and you need to prove yourself valuable to your company. But at which point we just learn to hide our honesty from ourselves and others, and we become dishonest, both to people and to ourselves. And we learn it. And we never know it, so we never know that we need to unlearn it. So we never understand that it was just a moment, and that now things have changed, but we continue to behave in the same way. So that's what I was thinking about when Alex was telling us this, because I feel, obviously Alex is much younger than me. I feel the way he feels. I'm just saying, that was a very interesting take on the topic. That of honesty and I guess being honest with yourself if you're not being honest with others. At least understand that it's the rite of passage. Es el rito por el que uno tiene que pasar. Toca hacer de todo. Pero una vez se acabó ese rodeo y ya tienes tu experiencia, then you gain the privilege of start saying no to this, no to that. I don't know. Is it easy? No idea. Anybody else? ¿Quién quiere hablar? Who wants to talk? Who wants to say something to Alex?
Alex said something really true, and it's what sadly we realize our behaviors due to or until we see our less progress in our own way.
Yeah.
Yes?
Now that you
we
mentioned,
don't realize before until we don't see progress. So what happened?
True. And there's something very interesting that you just made me think of, Anna, and is the issue, you know, like something that people have been using, obviously because it's the topic, priorities and prioritize. And I'm going to show you this word here. I don't know if you had a chance to read the book or if you're going to read it, but I really recommend it. I think it's amazing. Priorities, very well researched. Priorities is a brand new word. It's a word of recent times. It's not an old word. Priorities in the plural is a new development. The original word was priority. And the world is a more manageable place when you have one priority. Your priority is your family, your career, being mindful of everything you do, meditating. What's your priority? It's a stupid thing to talk about priorities because priority means before everything else. So what the hell are we thinking? Like there can be 50 things before anything else? Obviously. There can be also 100 things before anything else. But originally, if we go back in time to the very, very beginning, according to scientists, there was a big bang. And that was the moment where there was nothing before, but it was the first thing. That was the priority. Thinking about what happened before the Big Bang takes us to a new set of laws of nature that don't exist, a new set of mathematical principles that have not been invented. It's a black hole. So priorities doesn't make sense, really. In our construction of our minds, priorities don't make sense. Priority makes sense. That was something I learned from the book. Anyhow, yes. Anybody else? Thank you, Anna, for your feedback. Let's see what else we got here. That's why it's interesting to leave here your original script, because we can go back and pick out things that maybe we didn't have time to take as notes. Okay, this was something that interested me, for example. Wonderful work. Great.
Hi, everyone.
Production. Great delivery. I loved it. Alex is building himself into a very accomplished speaker, public speaker. I'm proud. Let's listen to
Hello guys,
Juanca.
I'm here to share with you how this stuff called essentialism, I can say, has totally turned my life around. It has assisted me in organizing my goals, prioritizing my self-care, and getting driven in my purpose. Let me give you some background right first. I became a father at 22, which changed everything for me. But I had to start working and put my own dreams on hold. Now that my daughter is grown, I have seen that I finally get the chance to pursue all my own goals. So, when the pandemic was blocking about 3 years ago, I began to learn English because I want to go traveling, meet new people, and work in a skilled field abroad. But for all that to happen, unconsciously or not, I realized I had to turn to essentialism. First, I had to figure out what was important to me. I couldn't do everything at once, so I had to focus on what was most important for me. That was getting better at English. So I made myself a study plan. I started practicing every single day. I also learned to say no to things that were not essential. I used to say yes to everything, and that wore me out, frustrated me, and I used myself by wanting perfection in all of the things at the same time. But now I focus on what really matters, like learning English and staying fit. Another important thing about essentialism is to get rid of things you don't need. I gave up some unhealthy habits. I started working out every day. It has made a big difference in how I feel. I also got to know how to set limits for myself. I used to work non-stop and didn't have time to relax. But now I make sure I balance work and life, and I take care of myself every day. In short, essentialism has totally changed my life by focusing on what is important, getting rid of what I don't need, saying no to things that are not essential, and setting boundaries. I have seen able I have been able to reinvent myself and work towards my goals. I hope this inspires you too to use essentialism. Thanks for listening, guys.
Comments? I
Juanca
didn't
is
know
a
that he was
superman.
that he became a father at 22. That's intense. I was gonna say, Anna, continue.
I think was really motivating, like a superman. He showed us all the examples of his life and show us how be the protagonist of our own movie, no at other character, just the principal or the main character.
That's a good analogy. I like it.
I really like it.
Don't be any character, be the protagonist. You make choices, right? And he shows us how he makes choices, and he's almost military in the way that he does it. But I'm sure he's also flexible, and I'm sure he knows his limits, but he's so tenacious in continuing his discipline once he commits. And his dream is his priority. He wants to be bilingual because he understood, okay, I have an ulterior dream or motive, but to accomplish that, I need to be bilingual. And so I'm going to focus my attention on this. Very astute and very determined and disciplined, and a true example to all of us. We have seen Juan Carlos make huge progress in his communication style, in his vocabulary acquisition, in the way he presents and organizes information, in how he can persuade us to see his point of view. He has been very smart in planning all this out to deliver us this final result today. Who knows what exciting new thing he's going to present to us next week and the week after. And I always wait for what he's going to show us, because there's always a true sign of progress coming from the investment of all that energy and time that he puts into it consistently, because he's a very consistent man. And for that, we need to thank him and admire him, because that's something that we can all always be reminded of, because it's the way that we become champions. I always say Mariana Pajón is not just great. She makes herself great 7 hours a day. I mean, when she was at the top of her career, that was her training regime, 7 hours a day. Who's going to be training 7 hours a day? A champion. A champion will. And it was just her bicycle. And in this case, it's just English, or in that case, it's just my business. And for the rest of us who are polymaths, I think that is exciting, but very unfruitful. Polymaths are people that know everything. I wanted to be, and I don't know why I'm making another vignette about me, I wanted to be that kind of guy that knew all the answers. But there comes a point where you need to healthily, if you can, healthily realize that's not the path, because you end up doing a lot of nothing. And then you have to devote your attention to just one thing. Pick it in the most honest way. And like some of you have said it, in the way that makes the most impact in your world. That's it. The rest is going to suck eventually. Like me, with so many books that I'm going to give away tomorrow. And anybody else wants to say anything to Juanca?
I just want to say that Juanca was father younger, 22.
Wow.
22 years.
I had Arthur when I was 26. 22 is unbelievable.
We have 31. I have my first child when I was 31.
That's a good age. Not too old, not too young. 22 is really young.
I also want to say that I am amazed with the progress that Juanca.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yes, it's amazing that the Juanca is an example that who persevered. The persevered, he can accomplish his goals.
Absolutely. More than an example, he's a testament. He's a testament.
Yes.
Hard work. And that's a delicious thing to witness firsthand with a partner. And we're proud to have him as a partner because that's what we need. We need somebody who pushes us from behind. Hey, move, because I'm moving and you need to move. You know, if you see Juan Carlos behind you and you're going in the same direction, you either get out of the way or accelerate the pace because you know that he's going to run over you. Te va a pisar. Te va a llevar por
Totally.
He's a machine.
It's a machine.
Very good job.
Juan Carlos Machine.
Ya quedó bautizado. Tenemos ya la roca, tenemos la máquina.
La máquina, Juan Carlos Machine.
All right, let's go on with Diana.
The topic of the week is very interesting for some time, and now I have been thinking about how to focus my life. Some time ago, an analysis, I was doing things that I was not enjoying to please to work. By culture, we are educated to say yes everything. We all setting limits. We all putting ourselves first. In my case, I accept commitments that I did not want to go to. I assumed responsibilities that not correspond to me and unfocused. Now I try to check before giving a yes that it's current my life this and that is real. Bye bye guys.
Okay, I have to say that Diana still looks a little nervous and anxious, but that tonight, right now, she looks to me buoyant, bollante. Sí, como que salió a flote y se estaba dando la capacidad de comunicar muy abiertamente y muy bacano. Me encantó. I loved it. Yeah, I can sense that she's still a little nervous, a little anxious, a little apprehensive, but that she's leaving that behind now and she's starting to float to the surface and that she feels lighter and more fluent. That's the way she feels to me. She communicated the idea that we were asking for. Short video, but she did it in a more elegant way than previously. I loved it. What do you have to say, guys? ¿Qué le dicen a Diana?
I tell the same, Fab. It's a short video, but it has the vignette required. In a short massage, contundent.
Yes. And I want to say specifically, we were talking about Juan Carlos and how much he has processed and how much he has progressed and how much he has been through and how much we have seen. And now we come to this result that we just saw. Same thing is happening now to Diana. I'm sure that she's going through things, but if she consistently continues to push, eventually she's going to make it past whatever obstacle she may imagine is there. Because right now, with this vignette, she looks unstoppable to me. She starts to feel unstoppable. Eso es como, te digo, como cuando tienes una pelota bien inflada, un balón, y lo metes en el agua en la piscina, ese balón busca la forma de salir. Y usted no tiene cómo contener, usted lo mantiene un momentico, pero ya después se descuida y táquete, sale de una. Eso fue lo que yo sentí hoy con Diana, que finalmente rompió la superficie. Cuéntame, Diana.
¿Cómo estás ahí? Gracias por tu tiempo. Está trasnochada, pero muchas gracias por tu dedicación a observar pues cada una de las viñetas. Esto en español, espero la próxima poder hacer la intervención en inglés, Repetí la viñeta 1.000.000 de veces porque nada que soluciono mi tema con la aplicación, pero pues es un muy buen ejercicio y muchas gracias por tu tiempo y por tu retroalimentación, por la tuya también.
Yo creo, Diana, que estamos dando los pasos adecuados en cada proyecto. Cada uno de nosotros acá somos un proyecto diferente. Estamos vinculados por una afinidad. Más que un nivel, estamos en una afinidad de temas, de ideas, de estilos, de lo que queremos. Y cada quien lleva su proyecto, obviamente, y a cada quien le dedicamos su tiempo. Y yo veo que lo que produces me está gustando tanto, Diana. O sea, en realidad, siendo aquí honestos y hablando muy escuetamente, me está encantando lo que estás produciendo. ¿Sí?
Bueno, ahí voy dando pasitos, pero lo voy a sacar adelante. Es mi compromiso.
Eso está muy bien, pero ya vemos aquí esos destellos de lo que está allí, ¿sí me entiendes? Si te categorizas como que vamos a dar pasos porque todavía estamos en diamante bruto, pues ya sabes que hay un diamante detrás.
Muchas gracias. Ahí
A mí
vamos
me parece que
trabajando.
está espectacular, ¿sí? Y ya se comienza a ver, como te digo, o sea, vi como una fluidez, unas ganas, una apertura vocal, no sé qué fue lo que hiciste, me pareció muy impactante. Y bueno,
Muchas gracias. Voy a seguir trabajando por
total,
que las
total.
viñetas también sean más, que puedan transmitir. Muchas veces uno se queda corto en lo que quiere decir entre ubicar la idea, las palabras, la pronunciación, ¿no? Un
Claro, es
montón
que hay
de
muchos
cosas
aspectos.
y sí, como que uno se queda corto y no transmite realmente lo que quiere, pero supongo que es tiempo y trabajo
Total,
para
pues yo
que la
mañana voy
vaina
a
fluya.
publicar, yo mañana publico, como lo habíamos prometido. Y la idea es que como versa esta viñeta, su tema, es cuál es la prioridad, ¿cierto? Ya en este momento la prioridad está muy clara. Tú ya sabes tu historia, sea la que
Sí,
sea que tú vayas a contar. Simplemente pásala por diferentes versiones en el chat GPT, eso ya queda delegado a chat GPT. En ese momento
ok.
delegas. Y ya tú lo único que haces es irte de shopping, tú sabiendo tu historia, cuál te gusta más o cómo la vas a casar entre varias que tienes ahí. Y ya la prioridad, una vez ya delegaste eso, la prioridad tuya, tu trabajo, tu labor, tu concentración está toda alrededor de la pronunciación. Es lo único. Esa es
Ok.
la gran prioridad. Porque tú ya tienes la historia, tú sabes qué pasa, tú sabes qué pasa por tu mente, entonces simplemente lo plasmas en inglés a través de la máquina y ya luego entonces empieza a procesar cómo lo digo, cómo lo canto, cómo lo actúo, cómo hago que si en realidad la gente sienta lo que estoy diciendo. Y con eso, únicamente con ese propósito, semana tras semana, vas a ver el progreso tan enorme que da uno. Mira, todos los compañeros que están acá logran ese estado del arte simplemente con este proceso de repetir y repetir. No es de que una vez la sacan del estadio, no, sino que cada vez como que notan una cosa y otra y otra y otra, y el agregado es lo que llega acá a verse como una forma de expresar las ideas muy bien, de pronunciar exacto como es, de persuadir, de ser encantadores. Aquí una Paola, una Ana Vega que todavía están acá, un Edward, no son el resultado del esfuerzo de esta semana, son el resultado del
Sí, es
esfuerzo
un
de
camino.
un año de darle, y que cuando ya ellos tienen, como decimos, la carrera con sus balas, o sea, con sus viñetas, ahí tienen todo el arsenal. O sea, yo digo que el punto de comparación aquí es cuántas viñetas llevas, ¿cierto?
Sí,
Y
total.
la gente ya lleva un montón de viñetas. Tú estás comenzando y ya comienzas a ver el cambio. Entonces yo digo que es todavía más enfoque en lo que en realidad se va a materializar y es tu capacidad de hablar, que es lo que estamos persiguiendo. Yo creo que aquí nadie se matriculó a este curso porque quería aprender inglés. Pues de una vez yo lo prohibí, ¿cierto? De entrada. Es simplemente hable. ¿Cuál aprender? Hable. Y vamos bien. Me encanta tu proceso. Vas súper bien. Sigue así. Qué rico. Qué rico verte mejor que hoy. O sea, va a pasar.
Así va a ser.
Súper.
Así va a ser.
Te felicito,
Gracias.
Diana. A ti.
Vale, buena noche.
Igual. All right, let's continue. And next is Camila.
Hi guys, so the topic of this week is essentials. So it's nice to know what is important for you. For me, it's important to have like a calm mornings, starting with meditation, with yoga, being with my daughter before she goes to school. Also, now what is my 3 tasks of the day? You know, we all know what is important for us. So yeah, if you have like 3 things important, and the rest of the tasks are not so important, so maybe you can delegate that task, or maybe, you know, like another day or another time, so maybe you don't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not being productive. No, it's like, okay, I did 3 things in my day, so that is important. Also, that things that you do, maybe you feel like maybe you're not going to your goals, but maybe it's the first step to go to reach that thing that you want to do. So yeah, that's my essential, being with my daughter. Out to learn is so important for me. My company. So yeah. Hi guys, so the
Amazing. Let's get a little bit of a background on Camila. She's an entrepreneur. She's a young entrepreneur. That means that at a young age, she decided to be successful. And the way you decide to be successful as an entrepreneur is to believe in your own idea, not ideas, because it's very hard to be an entrepreneur of several businesses at the same time and see them all succeed. So I like the philosophy. Number one, what really matters to me is the beginning, my family and myself. And then when I focus on the business, I don't accept anything but just 3. Give me 3 things, no more. I won't take 4, I won't take 5, just 3. I counted 1, 2, 3. It's manageable. Okay. I would think that if you're crazy enough, tantos quemadores como tenga un fogón, no más. Yo no he visto fogones sino hasta de 5. De ahí no conozco el primer fogón de 6. Bueno, un restaurante, pero usted no es un restaurante. Okay. In your house, yo creo que máximo 5 quemadores en un fogón. Máximo, pues, una bestia de fogón. So yeah, but she's clear. 3. That's it for me. And I think that the interesting thing here is that she decides to be inflexible about that number. And if she succeeds doing what she does with just 3, why can't we just try that too? How many do you take on? Do you take 10, 20? How many on your to-do list? Because to-do lists can be so frustrating. And when we become discouraged by to-do lists, it's because they become longer and longer every time. But if you just do 3, you can knock them out every day. 1, 2, 3. Okay. It doesn't matter if it's something trivial or not. I need to pay servicios públicos. That's one of the 3. That's it, accomplished. Then you have the rest of the day, 2. And then when you're done, you can go back to your most important, your family. In the end, I think that I don't want to be tragic, but in the end, don't we die? No morimos al final. Just be quick in taking care of business and go back to enjoy what is yours, your family, your health, la salud. Hay que disfrutarla. Yeah. Etc. Good lesson. That's what I take away from Cami. Anybody else?
I like the way that Camila expressed her ideas. I believe that she has other thing that I saw in his video, that the magical movements that she has with her hands. She expressed her ideas with your mouth and your hands.
I like that.
And you can see that she's a very fast thinker, and she makes things very dynamic because she doesn't stop in front of the camera. She goes at the speed. I imagine her to be
Fluent, yes.
in her every day, all day. It's amazing. She's an amazing young woman and an entrepreneur. And I wish her lots and lots of success in her life, because it's amazing to be young and to be so centered. 3 things a day. I learned that today. All right, so let's move on. Let's move on, because the day is almost over. We got Paola Duque. Oh, I skipped over Johan. Oh my God. I'm sure that he's going to hate me forever.
Hi guys, I hope you are going well. To be honest, I didn't know the word essentialism. And by the way, I think that the last few years I've been working on essentialism, exactly. So I want to make a quick reflection by saying that the issue or the thing is not to follow a precise methodology. For example, not only learn how to say no or yes to everything. Something I have done is to identify which habits we should abolish or enhance according to the results we are or we are not having or accomplishing. For example, at work we can prioritize by tasks that are more relevant or easier to process. I have also learned not to take so much work home and work on personal things. For example, dedicate the time that our loved ones deserve. Of course, this includes our pets. For example, I'm walking Medellín right now because he deserves, and all of them deserves quality time. One thing I'm trying to do, and I said that before in some videos, is to stop procrastinating and be more focused on tasks. And the last pearl is I have to plan my week schedule from the weekend. I know that is not rocket science, but it worked for me. Maybe it works for you. And other thing is read, work out, sleep, eat well, and making time for yourself is very important. And I can say that all these points we are working on and making progress, and I think it's going to continue working. And if we have to abolish some of those things, we are going to do that. So that's basically it. I don't remember what I was going to say more, but see you next. Hi guys.
He said a lot. Good that he didn't remember what else, because he said a lot. And I want to mention a couple of things. I want to mention, firstly, wait a second, my computer is dying already. Firstly, it's not about saying yes or no, it's about adapting. I love that. It's a principle of nature, it's adaptation. If you adjust to the changing environment, which is always changing, you're going to stay alive. Otherwise, you're going to die like the dinosaurs, because you deserve it. And another thing is the word deserve. I love it. He says, well, we need to adjust and work on making time for ourselves and others, because we deserve it. We deserve it. It's true. I mean, that at some point we have to understand that many of the things that we do, the efforts we do, is because we deserve retribution. If you work harder, that means you can buy tickets to Cartagena, to Cancun, to Barranquilla. I don't know. You can buy tickets for the weekend or for the week. That's because you work hard and then you deserve it. So you have to find a way to also adjust your effort so you can work hard and then play hard with the people that deserve the fruits of your labor, which is something that Luis Alberto talked about. We have to enjoy the fruits of our hard work. And those are my two main takeaways, but this guy talked so much and said so many interesting things that I only managed to remember two. That's why I always say, leave the notes to what you say. Okay? Leave the notes to what you say. And that helps a lot. Look at this. Okay, I think been working on essentialism. True, I think that we all do realize to a certain extent that we either were working on this, we knew it in a way, or we needed it in our lives right now, or needed it last year, like in the case of many. No precise methodology, I agree, is about identifying which habits which should abolish or enhance, and prioritizing. Dedicate time to our loved ones because they deserve it. Stop procrastinating and be more focused so you can liberate more time for them because they deserve it. The last pearl is plan your weekly schedule from the week, your weekly schedule from the weekend because you deserve it. Read, exercise, sleep, eat well, repeat, make time for yourself. It's important. Of these points we are working on and making progress, I guess, because we deserve it. In other words, we deserve it.
I hope you are going well.
Johan should rename his vignette, we deserve it. Anything to say, guys? Anna, Pau, Edward?
Yes, teacher. Me. Teacher, no. I love it. I just love how Johan is in a sense. I love that in his videos, he always show us Merlin. I love that he doesn't require a text or a model to make his vignettes epic. I really admire him.
I bet he prepares, but then he manages to go with the flow, right? To me, Johan is un atún. Siempre va con el flujo del agua, siempre va con la corriente. Johan no es como el salmón que va contra la corriente. Este tipo es inteligente, baja con el flujo del agua.
Ay, sí. Realmente es muy, muy teso.
He's good, he's good, he's really good. I love the guy. And I bet that he hates me. Just kidding.
You wanna replace rock for salmon?
No way, no, rock. He's a rock. No, el atún no, the rock.
Tuna, replace rock with tuna.
No, leémoslo, the rock. It's good. I like it. All right. Thank you, Pau. And now let's listen to Paula Duque.
Hi, guys. When talking about the topic of essentialism, I questioned myself a lot of its meaning because I feel that essentialism doesn't apply in my life. Honestly speaking, I am a workaholic person. Many times I prioritize versus my personal life. It is a constant topic that I talk about with Johan. So talking about this topic here is not new, but it is still a topic that questions me about how to apply essentialism in my life. And I think I should read the book to have tools to apply it. And always on Sunday, I try to make an overview of my week, and I plan to finish my work day between 5 or 6 p.m., but I don't usually comply. I am very achievement oriented person, and I propose to leave certain items ready that are usually very urgent. I try to finish them, even if that means more hours in the day. But something to highlight is that with Merlin, I have to stop to take him out before 5, 7 p.m. when we give him lunch, and we when return from the walk, I question myself if I reconnect at work, or it's more better continue with more tasks of my personal life. And today, three throughout the 5 days, I dedicate more to personal issues at night than work, and it's a progress. And with all this, I will continue to my question myself and make decision about it, because in many aspects, even in English, I realize how important it's to have several aspects aligned in my life. For example, the essentials I need to apply in my life. And that's it. Thank you for listening, and good. Hi guys. When
I don't know if it's a coincidence, but I feel like in the timeline that we follow, as we hear different people talk about their take on the topic, it starts to reveal more and more and more. We get more in depth around the topic in question. And we get to Paula, sorry, and she expresses openly, this doesn't apply to me. I fail at it, but maybe I need it. I need to study. And she starts to give us an example of how she fails, which takes courage, because you never want to accept that you fail at something. And I like the freshness of the take, because obviously we're all kind of trying to find the opportunity to exemplify that we can do essentialism, or that it has applied to us, or that we have been touched by it accidentally. But then Paul says, you know what? I enjoy being an workaholic, but this makes me think maybe I need to rethink the structure of my day. And she starts to examine it from different points of view. And I didn't know this about her. And I love it. I think I'm curious by nature, or maybe I'm a gossip or whatever. But I love encountering the person for who the person is. And Pao reached me with this one, completely disregarded of her English, because her English didn't distract me for one bit. She was talking fluently. I mean, the English completely became part of the landscape, and I got to know her better. She opened that window of opportunity through her English, which I didn't notice at all, because it was fluent, it was great, it was well pronounced. And I enjoyed this vignette a lot because of that authenticity and originality, and that taking that measured risk. I'm going to say, I suck at this. I never thought about it, but I promise to start educating myself. And yeah, we should all read the book again. Okay, just saying. All right, anybody else wants to say anything to Pau?
Hey, I just want to say something.
Yeah.
I like the blue earrings look on her.
Yeah, me too. I told her last class, I think they're the same. They're perfect for vignettes.
I'm kidding that. I always understood everything that
Paul saying in her stories, in her histories, and the way how she tell us that histories. Okay, that's it.
Thank you very much.
I think I'm a gossip girl, like Fabian.
You are, yeah. We love.
Because I want to know more.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, isn't that the absolute top of communication when you are with a best friend who tells you their secret things that they don't tell even their mothers, fathers, spouses? Right? It's like, okay, now you become in charge of this information and you help the other person be liberated of having to keep this inside. Right? I don't know. I like it, Anna. We're both gossips. Now we know.
Hello, everybody. I've been juggling my 2 jobs. Let me know. I've been hella stressful. My second gig is running a clothing store specialized in plus size clothes. We were trying hard and get order at the door as fast as possible for every single customer. But between that and my other exhausting job, I hardly had any time to chill with my family. Eventually, we started falling behind and couldn't keep up with orders. It was getting out of hand and I couldn't even focus when it was at my other job. So I had to hit pause and chat with my wife. We brainstormed and came up for a new delivery and our schedule. So we cooled our game and give our customer better service and quality service of the clothes. It's like they say, don't be of more than you can chew. Sometimes less is more you can know. Hello, everybody.
Right.
I've been juggling.
There's something that I love about this last vignette of tonight. Let me see if it's here. No, I need our friend Gustavo to publish his script. If not here, on the WhatsApp group. Great vocabulary lesson. Lots of interesting words that apply from the colloquial point of view to the topic. I loved it. Great vocabulary work. And we can see the effort in him trying to accommodate all of these new terms and things to pronounce well and all that. And he managed to do quite well. I'm very enthusiastic about what he's trying to do. Okay. We already knew that he has his own business. I didn't know that it was a struggle, as you know, any new business or business that you own should be. It's never easy. Otherwise, everybody would be rich and famous and they would have businesses and they would be influencers. And clearly we're not all cut out of the same stone. But this guy is obviously also another entrepreneur who wants to change his world. But it comes at a cost. And I like the honesty when he says, but, you know, we hit the wall. We all do. When we want to do a lot, we hit the wall, but he has the courage to talk with his wife and reevaluate the game plan. I like the story. I like the way he tells it. And I admire him because, you know, I think that sadly, I know that we are famous for, you know, the corruption of the system, but every country is. Only that some countries are more, I would say, flagrant about the way it happens out in the open at noon, you know, at a busy street, but it happens everywhere. And this guy is a police officer. And, you know, you tip people, you tip the guy that parks your car, you tip this guy that does this for you. We never tip the police officers. We bribe them. Nosotros los sobornamos, no les damos, no los premiamos jamás a los policías, o muy pocos de nosotros. No le he dado el primer tip a un policía. No le he dado el primer como aguinaldo a haber sido un policía. Gracias por existir. Gracias porque si fuéramos anárquicos esto sería terrible. ¿Sí? Tiene que haber un poco de regla, tiene que haber un poco de orden, tiene que haber quien cuide que eso sí se cumpla. Yo sé que nada es perfecto, pero son los que representan eso. Sí, son gente que patrullan para ver que las reglas se cumplan y eso es bacano y lo disfrutamos. So I just wanted to say, take the opportunity to thank this guy for his service and to admire his courage in being in the service, which I know is tough. I don't think that being a police officer is a walk in the park. I don't think that being a police officer is a Sunday afternoon picnic. I think it's a mess. I think it's, you deal with stressful situations all the time. And he manages to have a business and to have a family. That's beautiful. That's awesome. And I love his opening line, which is juggling, because that's what it is. He's juggling his 3 jobs, actually. He's juggling being a father, or 4 or 5, or I don't know how many, being a father, being a husband, maybe being a son, being a police officer, and being an entrepreneur. Shit, you know, my head explodes. And so my admiration goes to the guy, and I hope that he can maintain the commitment to this process, to this project, because I would love to see him, you know, at the next consecutive, next 2-3 levels up, because he's brilliant. And we need brilliant people who can tell the story in more than one language. I've said it, caso cerrado. What do you say, Eddie, Pao, Ana? What do you say to Gus?
I really admire Gus and Camila, and I don't know if we have more entrepreneur people, but I think that if we have, of course, you, if me, or I don't know, if more people have discipline, you have the double or triple, or I don't know, but you have not only commitment, but the encourage and to be brave to do what do you want. And I don't know, I think, and I really admire you because it's difficult.
Thank you for those words, for all that those words apply to. It's great. Yeah. You know, we need to admire entrepreneurism because it's a lifestyle, it's a mental state, and it's a process that presents itself with many decisions. And as we know it, if we start to take a look at all of the people that talked tonight, and we remember Aolani, our youngest one, we can see the timeline. It is never easy to decide. And when you're an entrepreneur and when you're a parent, especially those two, being a parent and being an entrepreneur, it's plagued with decisions. Sometimes I have to be honest, and I don't know why I'm making a vignette about me right now, but sometimes I need to be honest. I pray. I pray because I don't know what to decide. Yo ruego, yo pido a Dios, y no soy el más piadoso, pero pido a Dios, hey, dame una luz, ¿qué decido? O sea, no sé, esto o lo otro. What do I do? Because I think that what somebody said is true. We need to unlearn. Was it you, Anna, who said unlearn? I think it was Anna. No, it was, who was it? Pau. Pau said unlearn. True, but what? I mean, like it takes me back to when in English they say think out of the box. Interesting concept. Can you show me the box so I can make a hole? Nobody knows the box, but we all have one. Same thing happens when you need to unlearn. What? I mean, maybe if you have a life coach, maybe that person can say if they connect with you really authentically, like, okay, you need to change this. That's your problem. Unlearn it. But authentically, we need to be the ones that understand that we need to unlearn stuff. Yeah, I don't know why, but I come back to being a parent and then being an entrepreneur, not completely comparable, but both riddled with misery of deciding all the time. Lo regaño, le quito el play, lo amenazo, le bajo los breques, no digo nada, soy un cool dad, lo dejo ir, no lo dejo ir. Jesus Christ, it's like every time, every day, every moment. But yeah, Anna, is fun. It's fun and it's a precarious situation. And obviously, because it involves bigger risks, it also delivers to you, if you deserve it, and we all do, benefits and fruits and happiness.
And as Johan mentioned, we have to adapt in.
Definitely. Guys, this was a very successful vignette. Muy bonito el trabajo de todos. Una cosa ejemplar, porque yo creo que aparte de que damos el trabajo que se pide, aprendemos de manera como en el agregado, se construye algo así. Es una cosa muy interesante. Y lo interesante que me parece hoy que la línea de tiempo de las viñetas que vimos empiezan a revelar cosas que sorprenden y que agregan a las anteriores, como que se pusieran de acuerdo. Muy bacano el trabajo, muy inteligente, muy bien pensado, recomendado el libro. Yep.
Missing one vignette.
Which one?
Dianita Espinosa on WhatsApp.
Esta Dianita Espinosa nos va a matar con WhatsApp. ¿Sí? Porque eso se olvida, eso no queda ya en ninguna parte. ¿Qué le pasará a Dianita que no las puede subir a... Esta Dianita tan traviesa.
I don't know.
Esta Dianita tan traviesa. Sí, porque se le pierde, o sea, yo ya no sé cómo, o sea, tendría que yo la subiera ahorita, si me acuerdo, subírsela, porque se sube sencillamente, tiene el video, se sube. Voy a mirar a ver si no me olvida. Porque esa cosa acá al perro.
She put the script behind the vignette.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, the vignette and the script, yes. Very smart move. Let's listen to Dianita.
I want to tell you that last year I had started my English process. I was working in the evening and presently the meeting times were at 7 p.m. Many times I work and well connected while I was at work. I was taking care of a patient. At some times I listened to the teaching, but at other time I had to attend to my responsibilities. Then the lady's daughter came from the USA and told me that I should take more care of her mother. I knew she was studying English, but the priority was her, my mother. So in fortunately, I abandoned the process English. It's a difficult, but I don't. But today I have the opportunity again, and I want to make the most of it since my schedules is adapt to the meeting time. Thank you, Lord. Today continue the process. And no more. Bye.
All right. So I understand that Dianita had that moment where the essential thing was to keep her job. Yeah. Sadly, sometimes esa es la vida. No puede tener uno pan y pedazo, ¿cierto? So she needed to work, and she was trying. She was trying to maintain the two tasks at the same time. And she managed for a while, but then she had to say, okay, you know, the priority is this. But now she has rescued the project. And that goes to show you that if there is a God and you really deserve to travel the world, to see new people, welcome them, friend them, then, well, that's your destiny. Maybe not now, but maybe next year or in 6 months or next week. But she never forgot it, and now she can do that. And talking about essentialism, I hope that she can make it work for her this year, and that she becomes what she wants to become in terms of her language education and her language project, that she can communicate. Because she's amazing. She's an amazing woman, just like everybody else here is amazing, and she deserves it, right?
Hi,
So
Luis.
there's all hope for Dianita that she can continue with us, because we need her and she needs us. That's it. Simple. All right. Having said that, habiendo dicho eso, la tarea ahí la acomodé como a tratar de encontrar el punto de vínculo, pero no, si esto fuera para un examen, lo habría perdido. ¿Cierto? Bacano y toda la reflexión y todo, muy bien, me gustó, me encantó, está muy bacano, me gustó el vocabulario que utilizo, todo lo demás, todo está muy bien ahí dentro del contexto, pero el contexto estaba fuera de lo que estaba pidiendo la pregunta, entonces, ojo con eso. Eso lo habíamos hablado hace un rato, el año pasado, y es algo para aclararles a todos que, bueno, eventualmente uno se prepara también para responder. Sí, o sea, el inglés es para uno responder, ya respondes en otra lengua, en otro código. Pero si responden muy interesantes cosas que no tienen nada que ver con lo que te estaban pidiendo, grave, ¿sí o no? Y eso es algo que se penaliza mucho en el examen de inglés estándar, donde la gente arranca pues con una fluidez y descrestan a todo mundo, y cuando salen es que yo no sé qué pasó, el juez estaba vendido, veáis que a uno. Tremendo descreste, todo el mundo, uy, si habla, si escribe, y cosa tan berraca, y sales que a uno, a dos. Y no, pero ¿por qué? La respuesta es muy sencilla, es que usted le hizo una pregunta y no respondió eso, grave.
No sé si es my bad, pero, o sea, ella esa tarde me hizo la pregunta por WhatsApp, y pues me dijo que de pronto no entendía el topic, estaba un poquito perdida. Yo traté de explicarle más o menos con el ejemplo de que a veces uno se compromete con las cosas y uno a todo le dice que sí, a la hora del té, por hacer más haces menos, y de pronto no entregas el 100% de lo que tienes que entregar al día, porque das prioridad a todo menos a lo más importante, y coges lo relevante, por eso es que no cumples como con tus objetivos. De pronto traté de explicar en un pequeño mensaje de 2
minutos. Está bien, pero leíste el cortometraje, leíste el shortcut, pero había que tener un poquitico más de trasfondo para ella, entonces la venció fue de pronto el tiempo que le faltó crear un poquitico más de contexto para poder fundamentar la respuesta, o organizarla mejor, pero bueno, pero lo entregó, como digo yo nuevamente, mejor que nada, definitivamente, ¿cierto? Y tenemos que ser flexibles.
Total.
En la tarea. Sí, y ya con esta aprende, bueno, para la próxima voy a prestar más atención, táctil. Y mañana la publico. Mañana publico la tarea para que ya estemos con más tiempo, para que podamos hacerla con más comodidad.
Claro
All
que
right,
sí.
guys. Murió esto, muchachos. Murió a las 11:16 de la noche.
4 horas 20 minutos. Muchísimas gracias por tu tiempo, Fab, por esta dedicación. Sí, esta dedicación. Sabemos que pues tienes tu día a día también, tus estudiantes, tus quehaceres, tus hijos, tu familia, como decías con el ejemplo de Mauricio, eres un padre, eres un hijo, eres profesor, tienes que hacer también tus obligaciones, tus quehaceres, y aquí estás con nosotros. 4 horas dedicadas que las disfruté muchísimo, así como muchos de nosotros. De pronto algunos tenían que madrugar y es entendible, pero aquí estamos todos. Entonces, muchas gracias, Fab, oíste, por ese tiempo.
Gracias a ustedes, y ya saben que esto no es gratis, esto es porque ustedes lo contagian, ¿sí? O sea, estamos contaminados de lo que todos generamos. Queremos este proyecto y queremos el resultado que hemos envisionado o que visualizamos, y bueno, vamos por eso. Estamos todos comprometidos, estamos llenos de lo que queremos hacer. All right?
Claro que sí.
Muchas gracias por esas buenas viñetas, me encantaron. Muchas gracias, Pau, Ana y Edward, y gracias por permanecer acá también, porque eso también es un acto de generosidad de ustedes, no tenían que hacerlo. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your night and good night, and no dejen que los chinches los muerdan. Se cogen así bien enrolladitos, como que fuera un tabaco, ¿ok?
Okay.
Okay, teacher. Thank you.
Thank you, Pau.